Chapter 18. Little Brother Fei Run. It's all thanks to you this time. Otherwise, the two of us wouldn't have been able to escape after seeing Snake 5 retreat. Qilong finally felt relieved. At the same time, he looked at Fei Run and said with a relaxed expression, although Fei Run was young and his cultivation was only at the 4th level of the body refinement realm, his strength was extraordinary. Not only did he kill many members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group by himself, but he was also not afraid of offending Snake 5 and the others. This kind of mentality was obviously not ordinary. Brother Fei, Qiyu, have always respected men. You're one of them. On the side, Qiyu, who had recovered from his injuries, coughed a few times and laughed. Although his cultivation was 2 levels higher than Fei Run, if they really fought, he would not be a match for Fei Ren. Qiyu was well aware that his end would be similar to the members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group. You're too kind. I was just passing by. If that guy didn't want to kill me, I wouldn't have done anything. In the face of Qilong and Qiyu's flattery, Fei Ren only shrugged and smiled disapprovingly. After all, Fei Run and the 2 brothers in front of him did not know each other. If his whereabouts had not been exposed and Snake 5's intention to kill and steal, Fei Ren most likely would not have saved them. Instead, he would have quietly escaped. Oh, no matter what, our lives were saved by you, little brother. Seeing Fei Ren being so straightforward, Qilong was stunned and seemed to be surprised. In the next moment, he opened his mouth and said, "Little brother, how about this? The corpse of the ground lizard beast is full of treasures. The 2 of us only want its bones and some of its fur. As for this demon core, I'll give it to you, little brother. Big brother you." Hearing this, Qiyu was surprised. The ground lizard beast was a mortal rank, high-grade magical beast, and its magic core was extremely valuable. If it was taken out to be sold in the black market, it would at least be able to be exchanged for a few tens of inferior-grade origin stones. Such a valuable thing was given away by Qilong, and it could be said that he was extremely generous. Second brother, money is just a worldly possession. If it wasn't for little brother Fei Run, you and I might have already been buried here and become ghosts under Snake 5's blade. Seeing Qiyu's heartache over the earth lizard beast monster core, Qilong frowned and reprimanded him. Little brother, this magic core is yours. Turning around, Qilong slowly took out a pitch-black earth lizard beast core from his bosom and handed it over to Fei Ren with a solemn expression. How could I? Seeing Qilong suddenly being so forthright, Fei Ren was surprised and immediately grinned. However, he accepted the monster core with both hands, and a trace of passion flashed across his eyes. Since Brother Qilong is so kind, I'll accept it. We'll meet again in the future. After accepting the earth lizard monster core, Fei Ren's expression was calm. The next moment, he cupped his hands and turned to leave. His figure disappeared into the dense forest of the mountains and finally disappeared. TCH, that's a mortal rank, high-grade magic core. It's worth a lot. If exchanged for inferior-grade origin stones, it would be worth a few tens of them. Big brother, why didn't I know you were so generous before? Looking at Fei Ren's departing figure, Qiyu could not help but mutter in a low voice with a regretful expression. It's always a good thing to make a few more friends. Second brother, although your cultivation base has improved, there's still a lot to learn in the martial world. Let's go. We've offended the Spirit Owl Hunter group, so we probably won't be able to hunt in the mountains for a while. Patting Qiyu's shoulder, Qilong's expression was helpless. He then carried his blade and turned to run toward the outskirts of the mountains. Now that they had a grudge against the Spirit Owl Hunter group and killed many of their members, with Snake Woozy and Liao's vengeful nature, they would definitely not let them off easily. For this reason, Qilong and Qiyu could only temporarily return to Wuhan town to avoid being hunted down. Hungduan Mountain Range, in a forest clearing. Good fella, I didn't expect this to be an unexpected gain. Holding the earth lizard monster core tightly in his hand, Fei Ren's expression was wild with joy. This devil core was given to him by Qilong. Its grade was mortal rank high grade and contained a lot of devil power. Not only could it be used to refine spirit treasures and pills, but it could also be consumed directly to increase one's cultivation base. However, the devil power in a devil beast body was incompatible with the origin power cultivated by human martial artists. Consuming a devil core directly would easily cause side effects. In severe cases, it could even cause the martial artist dantian to shatter and cause him to go mad. Hence, most martial artists would not consume a devil core directly. Instead, they would let an alchemist refine it into pills first. However, I have the Immortal refining cauldron. This drawback is nothing. Fei Ren was aware of the drawbacks of consuming a devil core directly. However, his dantian had merged with the Immortal refining cauldron. The Immortal refining cauldron had the supreme power to devour everything in the world. A small earth lizard monster core was naturally nothing to it. Divine Cauldron, appear. Without further ado, Fei Ren summoned the Immortal refining cauldron with a flip of his hand. At the same time, he threw the earth lizard monster core directly into the cauldron. In a short while, the entire earth lizard monster core was completely refined by the Immortal refining cauldron. The devil power contained in it was all converted into pure origin power. At this moment, it was like a pure white jelly floating above the cauldron. Absorb. After putting the Immortal refining cauldron back into his body, Fei Ren's large hand covered the pure white origin power. At the same time, he circulated his chi condensing technique and slowly absorbed it into his body. As strands of pure origin power entered his body, his cultivation base rose rapidly. Soon, he reached a bottleneck and was only one step away from breakthrough. Breakthrough for me. Only one step away. Fei Ren naturally would not agree. With a loud shout, the suction force in his palm increased by quite a bit. In an instant, the remaining pure origin power was completely absorbed into his body. Fifth level of the body refinement realm. Along with a weak throbbing in his dantian, Fei Ren's face lit up. After absorbing the earth lizard monster core, his cultivation base finally broke through and stepped into the fifth level of the body refinement realm. Now, Fei Ren's cultivation base was at the fifth level of the body refinement realm. His chi condensing technique was perfected. Although the weapon in his hand was an unorthodox black fire stick, his overall strength was comparable to a martial artist at the seventh level of the body refinement realm. If it was purely based on strength, he could even fight a martial artist at the eighth level of the body refinement realm. 3 days later, Fei Ren had stabilized his cultivation base at the fifth level of the body refinement realm as he wished. However, the outside world was surging with undercurrents. The number of independent martial artists entering and exiting the Hungduan mountain range had decreased significantly. On the contrary, the Spirit Owl Hunter group had made quite a big move. They had sent out quite a number of men, seemingly searching for something in the outskirts of the mountain range. This time, I've gained quite a lot from my training in the mountains. Unfortunately, I still haven't found a single ice fire flower. Speaking of which, the Spirit Owl Hunter group seems to have made their move as well. Exiting his cultivation state, Fei Ren's face revealed a hint of seriousness. Although he did not know the other party's exact objective, Fei Ren could more or less guess. After all, he had offended the Spirit Owl Hunter group's deputy leader, Snake 5, a few days ago. Moreover, he had killed quite a number of Spirit Owl Hunter group's members. The other party obviously could not take this lying down. You want to kill me, huh? I'll deal with whatever comes my way. Bring it on. When he thought of this, Fei Ren could not help but secretly clench his fists. With a cold snort, his figure leaped into the air and onto a treetop in the next moment, disappearing from sight. Chapter 19. In a dense forest on the outskirts of the Hungduan mountain range, how unlucky. I was having fun in the town, but I was called over by the vice captain to look for someone. However, the girls in the Harmony brothel are quite pretty. A few young martial artists in black clothes slowly stepped out of the forest. These black-clothed people each held a weapon, and their expressions were different. They seemed to be searching for something. They were the members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group. There's still no one here. Why don't we go back to the town and have some fun? They looked around and found nothing out of the ordinary. One of the fat men probed as he turned to look at his companion beside him. Let's not. I heard that a nameless brat got into a conflict with Lord Snake 5 a few days ago. He even killed many of our brothers. This matter has infuriated the captain. It's better for us to be careful. Another black-clothed man said angrily when he saw that his companion was having some thoughts. His tone was cautious. Look at you. What's there to be afraid of? We're Lord Guanhai's subordinates. Even if that nameless brat has the guts of a leopard, he won't dare to do anything to us. As long as we catch that brat, it'll be a great achievement. The fat man scoffed. He disapproved of the other black-clothed man's words as he spoke plainly. Their small team had a total of 5 people. Although they were members of the Spirit Owl Hunter Group, they were not under Snake 5's jurisdiction. The Spirit Owl Hunter Group was one of the slightly famous hunter groups in Wuan Town. Other than the powerful captain, Zhong Lingxiao, there were 2 vice captains who were not weak. Snake 5, who had clashed with Fei Ren that day, was one of them. As for the other vice captain, he was called Guanhai. He was also an expert at the 8th level of the body refinement realm. Unlike Snake 5, Guanhai's personality was more brutal, and he was skilled in the art of torture. Basically, any enemy who fell into his hands would not have a good ending. That's right. I heard that nameless brat only has a cultivation base at the 4th level of the body refinement realm. He was lucky enough to escape from Lord Snake 5 that day. If we meet him, we'll be able to kill him in a few moves. There's nothing to be afraid of. The fat man had just finished speaking when the other black-clothed men burst into laughter. It was obvious that they did not take Fei Ren seriously. Not far away, Fei Ren held his breath and focused. At that moment, he was silently hiding on a treetop. With the cover of the dense foliage and the suppression of his yuan qi, the people from the Spirit Owl Hunter Group did not discover him. They continued patrolling and chatting. To 8th level body refinement realm. Looks like the Spirit Owl Hunter Group has spent a lot of money to kill me. Fei Ren's gaze pierced through the trees and finally landed on the black-clothed men in the forest. He fell into deep thought. Over the past few days, aside from killing magical beasts and collecting monster cores, he had also gathered quite a bit of information about the Spirit Owl Hunter Group. When he learned that they had sent out a large number of people to kill him, Fei Ren's heart skipped a beat. Luckily, I didn't make a move earlier. Otherwise, if I attracted Snake 5 and another 8th level body refinement realm cultivator, I wouldn't be able to escape even if I had wings. Thinking of this, Fei Ren couldn't help but reveal a trace of fear in his heart. Previously, he had encountered many pursuers from the Spirit Owl Hunter Group on the outskirts of the mountain range. However, in the end, he had cleverly avoided them and did not confront them head-on. Instead, he had kept a low profile until his cultivation base had completely stabilized at the 5th level of the body refinement realm. Looks like there are no other experts nearby. It's time. As he followed the Spirit Owl Hunter Group's patrol squad, Fei Ren discovered that there were no other squads from the Spirit Owl Hunter Group nearby. Moreover, they had not returned to their encampment. Killing intent immediately rose in his heart. At the same time, he secretly circulated his yuan qi, clearly intending to strike first. Swoosh! With a light tap of his foot, Fei Ren's body was as light as a swallow. In the next moment, he had unknowingly appeared behind one of the black-clothed men. At the same time, yuan qi surged in his palm. Who's there? Suddenly, he felt a chill and killing intent behind him. One of the black-clothed men felt his hair stand on end. He immediately turned to look behind the dense forest. Die! Fei Ren's expression was cold. He struck out with his palm, instantly piercing through the black-clothed man's back. His heart meridians were crushed as blood splattered everywhere. Art! It was a blood-curdling scream. Faced with Fei Ren's sneak attack, the black-clothed man could not resist at all. His body fell limply to the ground. Then his head lolled to the side. He was clearly deader than dead. An enemy sneak attack. Just as Fei Ren killed this black-clothed man in an instant, the other black-clothed men reacted as well. Their faces were filled with shock as they cried out in alarm. One's dead. For more. Twisting his wrist, Fei Ren circulated his yuan qi to evaporate the bloodstains on his palm. His gaze once again fell on the surviving black-clothed men. His expression was cold. He's the kid that Lord Shiwu wanted. At this moment, one of the black-clothed men seemed to have seen through Fei Ren's origins. He spoke incoherently, his face filled with terror. How's that possible? This kid has broken through again. Is he a monster? Hearing this, the faces of the other 3 black-clothed men changed greatly. Their gazes towards Fei Ren were filled with terror. After all, when Fei Ren escaped from Shiwu's hands, he was only at the 4th level of the body refinement stage. Now that they had not seen him for a few days, he had broken through again. Such talent was indeed rare. Before I send Shiwu to meet the King of Hell, this young master will first deal with you bunch of trash. The corners of Fei Ren's mouth rose slightly. His face was filled with disdain. The strongest black-clothed men in front of him were only at the 6th level of the body refinement stage. They were not his match at all. Such big words. Arrogant. Kid, you're courting death. Faced with Fei Ren's provocation, the black-clothed men were enraged. In the next moment, they brandished their weapons and flew towards him. Although Fei Ren's strength was not weak, his yuan qi was limited. He was only at the 5th level of the body refinement stage. On the other hand, the black-clothed men in front of him were all at least at the 5th level of the body refinement stage. One of them was even at the 6th level of the body refinement stage. Furthermore, it was 4 against 1. Clang! Bang bang! Reaching his right hand behind his back, Fei Ren's expression was calm. In the next moment, he pulled out a black fire rod and swept it forward. In an instant, he blocked the weapons of the 3 black-clothed men. At the same time, he gathered yuan qi in his left hand and threw a heavy punch towards the abdomen of one of the fat men. His attack was like the wind. The yuan qi mixed with the force of the fist instantly tore through the fat man's defense. Then, it landed heavily on his abdomen and sent his body flying several dozen meters away. He only stopped after smashing through several large trees. Blood splattered everywhere. It was obvious that he was no longer breathing. All of you die. After killing another person, Fei Ren became more and more courageous. His pair of black eyes could not help but turn red. At the same time, his body shot out once again. Accompanied by a series of screams, Fei Ren's figure could be seen shuttling back and forth in the crowd. Every time he attacked, he would kill with a single blow. In a short while, this small team of Spirit Owl hunters was completely wiped out. There is only one injured survivor left. Young hero, please spare my life. We were all ordered by the deputy leader. I have never thought of making an enemy out of you. Young hero. Looking at Fei Ren, who was like a god of death, the surviving black-clothed man's body trembled like a sieve. The weapon in his hand fell to the ground with a clang. He immediately knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. It seemed that he was so scared that he wet his pants. He did not dare to have any thoughts of resistance. Chapter 20. Spare your life? Give me a reason not to kill you. Fei Ren's lips curled up when he saw the black-clothed man trembling like a sieve and scared out of his wits. A playful smile appeared on his face. Young hero, this was all Deputy Commander Snake and Deputy Commander Wan's idea. They wanted to kill you to gain merit. Also, I didn't even know your name, young hero. If I had known, I wouldn't have dared to go against you, young hero. The black-clothed man kowtowed a few more times. His neck was like pounding garlic, as if he was afraid that Fei Ren would suddenly attack and kill him. Snake 5 and Guanhai's idea? If that's the case, why didn't your commander do it himself? When he heard this, Fei Ren withdrew the primal qi in his palm and the black fire rod. His black eyes flashed with some doubt. Snake 5 and Guanhai were both at the 8th level of the body refinement realm. He could not defeat them one-on-one for now, but if he wanted to escape, these 2 people would not be able to stop him. However, the commander of the Spirit Owl Hunter Group, Zhong Lingxiao, was different. Zhong Lingxiao was the founder of the Spirit Owl Hunter Group. He had already stepped into the half-step Middle Union realm many years ago. His strength was unfathomable and far surpass Snake 5 and Guan Hai. If this person personally intercepted him, Fei Rin's situation would become extremely difficult. It could be said that he had a slim chance of survival. Well, the commander is still in seclusion. Currently, most of the matters in the group are being handled by the two deputy commanders, Snake 5 and Guan Hai. The black-clothed man nodded repeatedly and spoke again. So, Zhong Lingxiao is in seclusion. No wonder. As soon as he finished speaking, Fei Run rubbed his chin. The stone that had been hanging in his heart slowly fell to the ground. There were many reasons why he did not counterattack and kill the Spirit Owl Hunter Group's pursuers in the beginning. Other than Snake 5 and Guan Hai, the commander of the Spirit Owl Hunter Group, Zhong Lingxiao, was also a troublesome person. If he was entangled with him, he would definitely fall into a perilous situation. Only Snake 5 and Guan Hai, both of whom are merely at the 8th level of the body refinement stage. Once this young master's cultivation advances once more, this young master will be able to defeat them one by one. There's nothing to fear. After making up his mind, Fei Run smiled and looked at the black-clothed man in front of him. Very good. You're an honest person. I can let you go, but I'll have to trouble you to take a nap. Boom! All of a sudden, Fei Rin's right hand shot out and chopped at the back of the man's neck. Young hero, you! Facing the sudden attack, the black-clothed man was stunned at first. Then he felt a heavy blow to his neck and fainted on the spot. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Snake 5, just you wait. Wait until I've cultivated enough. Then I'll sacrifice you to the heavens. After knocking the black-clothed man out, Fei Rin's cold gaze swept across the corpses on the ground. In the next moment, he raised his hand and summoned the Immortal refining cauldron. He absorbed all the remaining essence of origin power on the corpses and turned them into strands of pure origin power that flowed into his dantian. My cultivation has increased a little. With the Immortal refining cauldron, the only way for me to win is to keep killing and fighting. Fei Rin clenched his fist and felt the abundant origin power in his body. He subconsciously spat out a mouthful of turbid air, his eyes burning with passion. After absorbing the corpses of the black-clothed men, although his cultivation did not break through again, it had increased by almost half. He was not far from the 6th level of the body refinement stage. In addition to his perfected condensing chi skill, even without the help of origin stones, Fei Rin could officially step into the 6th level of the body refinement stage in at most 2 months. These people's cultivation isn't low, but they're so poor. Damn it. After plundering the remaining belongings of the black-clothed men, Fei Rin secretly sighed and shook his head. The black-clothed men who died in his hands were basically at the 5th or 6th level of the body refinement stage. It seemed that because they had been cultivating for a long time, they didn't carry much belongings on them. After searching for half a day, he only found a few low-grade origin stones, a few dozen taels of gold, and some miscellaneous items. There were no spirit rings used to store items. This is... Suddenly, Fei Rin's face froze. In the next moment, he saw a gray, ancient secret manual drop from one of the black-clothed men's corpses. On the front page of the secret manual were 3 small black words, Black Tiger Palm. It seemed to be a martial art. Black Tiger Palm? It's actually a martial art. Flipping open the ancient secret manual and looking at it, Fei Rin's eyes lit up and he exclaimed in a low voice. This secret manual named Black Tiger Palm was a rank 1 martial art. According to the secret manual, if this palm technique was cultivated to perfection, its power would be comparable to a rank 2 martial art. It was similar to the Iron Palm sect master Guohuai's unique skill, the Iron Palm Palm. Its power was not weak. At least there are some gains. This brother's skills are really not good. His palms are too weak, and his origin energy is too weak. What a waste of a good martial art. Glancing at the black-clothed men's corpses on the ground, Fei Run had a thoughtful expression. Ever since he picked up the Immortal refining cauldron and stepped onto the path of martial arts, he had been constantly cultivating. However, he had never cultivated a martial art. If he didn't enter the third-rate Iron Palm sect, Faerun wouldn't have even grasped a rank 1 martial art like the condensing chi art. Although the Black Tiger Palm secret manual in front of him was only a rank 1 martial art. If it was cultivated to perfection, its power would be comparable to a rank 2 martial art. For the current Faerun, it was enough. I should find a place to hide first and cultivate this Black Tiger Palm while I'm at it. After putting away the Black Tiger Palm secret manual, Faerun did not linger in this dense forest. At the same time, his figure flashed and disappeared into the mountain range, leaving behind only the aftermath of the battle. Hunwan Mountain Range, inside a nameless cave. After evading the pursuit of the Spirit Owl Hunter group, Faerun found a remote and uninhabited cave to hide in. At the same time, he started cultivating the Black Tiger Palm martial art. Whoosh! Inside the cave, Faerun's 5 fingers formed into a palm. In the next moment, he suddenly blasted it forward. As his sleeves rubbed against each other, a formless gust of wind swept up. Black Tiger Palm. Withdrawing his palm, Faerun let out a roar in the next moment. At the same time, both of his palms struck out again. Strands of Yuan power mixed with his palm energy swept out and actually smashed a few cyan-colored rocks in front of the cave into pieces, leaving behind a pile of dust. What a powerful martial art! The power of this Black Tiger Palm is not any weaker than the Iron Sand Palm. After withdrawing his palm, Faerun's face was filled with surprise. His eyes could not help but reveal a strange expression. He had only cultivated the Black Tiger Palm for half a day, but his proficiency level had already reached small success. He was not far from large success. Although this palm technique was only a rank 1 martial art, with the addition of Faerun's origin energy cultivation base at the 5th level of the body refinement realm, its power was not weak. It was enough to kill any martial artist below the 8th level of the body refinement realm. Continue. After feeling the power of the Black Tiger Palm, Faerun had tasted the sweetness of success. He continued cultivating the rank 1 martial art, Black Tiger Palm. Currently, the Spirit Owl Hunter group was hunting him all over the world. Moreover, they had even sent out 2 experts at the 8th level of the body refinement realm, Snake 5 and Guanhai. Faerun was very clear that his cultivation base had yet to reach large success. Moreover, he would not foolishly walk into a trap. Faerun's cultivation base was at the 5th level of the body refinement realm. If he cultivated the Black Tiger Palm to large success, he would be able to put up a fight even if he encountered an opponent at the 8th level of the body refinement realm. Hence, he still needed to endure. Now is not the time for a decisive battle. Chapter 21. While Faerun was cultivating in seclusion in the cave, on the other side of the continent, a storm was brewing. Black Star Continent, Central Continent, Heaven Saint Emperor Dynasty, Imperial City. The Heaven Saint Imperial Dynasty was one of the famous imperial dynasties in the Central Continent. It had a strong foundation and was at the top of the continent. Compared to the Great Chu Dynasty, the Heaven Saint Imperial Dynasty was hundreds of times stronger. However, the sky above Heaven Saint Emperor Dynasty was filled with dark clouds and lightning. At the same time, there was a dangerous aura, as if a great calamity was coming. You injured my soldiers for no reason and trespassed on the forbidden grounds of the Imperial City. Don't you think you've gone too far? Above the 9 layers of clouds, a middle-aged man in a golden dragon robe stood quietly in the air. His determined face was full of solemnity. At this moment, he was cautiously looking at a black-robed young man opposite him, and his tone was probing. The middle-aged man in the dragon robe had a terrifying aura, as if it contained an endless amount of primordial force. It was obvious that he was the current emperor of Heaven Saint Emperor Dynasty, the ruler of this land. However, the middle-aged man in the dragon robe did not dare to underestimate the black-robed young man because the latter's aura was no weaker than his. This person's primordial force is strange, and I've never heard of his martial arts before. Since when did Central Continent have such a person? Could it be that I've been cultivating in seclusion for too long and have become ignorant? Narrowing his eyes, the middle-aged man in the dragon robe stood with his hands behind his back. At the same time, Strands of primordial force gathered in his palms. I didn't think that a tiny emperor of a low-level continent would have such a cultivation. I, Tao Qian, have miscalculated. However, I don't need to use my full strength to deal with trash like you. The black-robed young man smirked at the middle-aged man's question. The next moment, he laughed mockingly. Low-level continent, tiny imperial dynasty. How arrogant of you. Hearing this, the middle-aged man in the dragon robe was stunned, and then he flew into a rage. He was the emperor of Heaven Saint Emperor Dynasty. Not only did he control the lives of hundreds of millions of people in Heaven Saint Emperor Dynasty, he was also one of the most famous experts in Central Continent. However, the black-robed young man before him looked down on him like he was trash. If you're not convinced, then come and try. With a cold snort, the black-robed young man's left hand stretched out in the air. Accompanied by a thunderous roar, the entire sky was filled with an azure color. Countless bolts of lightning were like huge thunder snakes as they roared and intertwined. At the same time, they emitted a terrifying aura that could destroy the world. Emperor Realm Expert. Just when the black-robed young man was recklessly erupting with origin energy, the dragon-robed middle-aged man's expression changed greatly as well. His expression was extremely shocked, and his eyes actually revealed a rare trace of fear. I just want to find something, but you trash insist on courting death. You can't blame me for this. Lightning snakes wreaked havoc on his palm as his origin energy surged. The black-robed young man glanced at the dragon-robed middle-aged man who had turned pale with fright, and his expression was cold and indifferent. The black-robed young man's name was Tao Qian. He was not originally from the Black Star continent, but one of the many Earth immortals in the immortal world. Under the orders of the current ruler of the immortal world, heaven-reaching immortal emperor, he descended to the mortal world to find the immortal refining cauldron that had reappeared in the world. The immortal refining cauldron was an immortal Tao treasure that had existed since the birth of the universe. Before heaven-reaching immortal emperor became the ruler of the immortal world, there were many legends in the ancient immortal world. Those who could obtain the immortal refining cauldron almost all became powerful immortals who dominated a part of the universe and left their names behind for eternity. Although heaven-reaching immortal emperor was the current ruler of the immortal world, he did not completely unify the immortal world. There were still many forces in the immortal world that intertwined with each other and surged with undercurrents. As one of heaven-reaching immortal emperor's subordinates, Tao Qian was naturally aware of this situation. If I can find the immortal refining cauldron, the immortal emperor will definitely promote me greatly. I can even become a golden immortal like senior divine diviner. Thinking of this, Tao Qian's greed and fire burned in his heart. Lightning annihilation 9 heavens. With a roar, Tao Qian waved his palm and blasted forward. Countless lightning snakes instantly wrapped around the dragon-robed middle-aged man opposite him, bringing with him a series of earth-shattering sonic booms. It was as if a god had descended from the heavens, and its power was unstoppable. Rumble. Thunder rumbled, and the weather changed. With just one palm, the dragon-robed middle-aged man was forced to retreat while vomiting blood. His body landed on the horizon not far away. At this moment, his face was extremely pale, and his aura was extremely weak. "You're no match for me." Tao Qian's expression was cold, and his tone was disdainful as he heavily injured the dragon-robed middle-aged man with one palm. "You!" Spitting out another mouthful of blood, the dragon-robed middle-aged man's expression instantly turned ugly. He was the emperor of the Heaven Saint Imperial Dynasty, the only supreme existence in the entire Heaven Saint Imperial Dynasty. If news of this were to spread, the Heaven Saint Imperial Dynasty's prestige would be greatly affected. "Hanwu, you're indeed no match for this person." Just as the dragon-robed middle-aged man was about to fight to the death, an old man's voice suddenly came from afar. "There's more trash?" Before he finished speaking, Tao Qian's expression darkened. At the same time, he looked at the other side of the sky and saw a white-haired old man in a white robe slowly walking in the air. The old man in the white robe had thick eyebrows and leopard-like eyes. He was tall and big, but seemed to have suffered some hidden injuries, and his face was faintly pale. "Master, you're still alive. How is this possible?" Seeing the old man in the white robe appear, the dragon-robed middle-aged man called Hongwu was stunned for a moment before he exclaimed, "Emperor Realm? This old man is also an Emperor Realm. I didn't expect such a small, low-level continent to have so many Emperor Realm experts. Now that I'm in the human world, I'm bound by the heavenly Tao's rules and can't fully unleash the power of an Earth Immortal. I can't fight this old man head-on, or else I'll ruin it." Narrowing his eyes, Tao Qian stopped attacking when he saw the old man in the white robe suddenly appear. Although he was an Earth Immortal in the immortal world, and his strength was far beyond that of a mortal martial artist, he could only unleash the power of an Emperor Realm. After all, the Black Star continent was different from the immortal world and was bound by the heavenly Tao's rules. Even a golden immortal would be suppressed. The Heaven Holy Emperor dynasty doesn't have what I want. I've always been merciful, so I'll let you go this time. Thinking of this, Tao Qian smiled coldly. The next moment, his body twisted into a wisp of green smoke and disappeared into the 9 layers of clouds. If Master hadn't intervened this time, this bastard would have brought disaster to the Heaven Holy Emperor dynasty. Seeing Tao Qian leave, the dragon-robed middle-aged man let out a long sigh of relief. The next moment, he turned to the old man in the white robe beside him. "This man's strength is not inferior to mine. It's not easy to force him to retreat." The old man in the white robe coughed a few times and looked serious. "Master, what happened back then? I didn't want it, it was father." As if suddenly remembering something, the dragon-robed middle-aged man hesitated. "There's no need to mention the past. Now that the Heaven Holy Emperor dynasty is thriving under your rule, it's the fortune of the people, the fortune of the world." Looking at the dragon-robed middle-aged man's unnatural expression, the old man in the white robe stroked his long beard and shook his head lightly, as if he didn't want to talk about the past. Caring for the people, is this the ultimate path of a king? Master, I finally understand why the Heavenly Dragon sect was able to grow and become the #1 sect in the Black Star continent, and why so many people were willing to follow you compared to Father and your student. You are a true ruler. The dragon-robed middle-aged man smiled bitterly and cupped his hands at the old man in the white robe, then lowered his head and said respectfully. The dragon-robed middle-aged man's name was Zhu Hongwu, and he was the current emperor of the Heaven Holy Emperor dynasty. Although he was the emperor of an imperial dynasty, Zhu Hongwu was unusually respectful to the old man in the white robe, like a student meeting his master. Chapter 22. Hungwan Mountain Range, inside a nameless cave. Black Tiger Palm. Fei Ren channeled his origin power and struck out with his palm again. The rolling origin power was mixed with a strong wind. With a loud boom, a huge crater was left on the wall of the cave. I've finally mastered this move. Slowly withdrawing his origin power, Fei Ren's face was filled with joy. After half a day of cultivation, he had finally mastered the level 1 martial art, Black Tiger Palm, and his overall strength had increased by quite a bit. Now, even if he were to face off against an expert at the 8th level of the body refinement stage, he would still have the ability to battle. Rustle, rustle, rustle. There's movement. Just as Fei Ren ended his cultivation state, a series of noises suddenly came from outside the cave. It seemed that someone was approaching. Origin power fluctuation, and it's not just one person. Sensing the increasingly obvious origin power fluctuation outside the cave, Fei Ren's face turned solemn. He had killed many members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group before this. Both sides were irreconcilable enemies. Moreover, there were enemies everywhere outside the mountain range. It would be difficult for him to continue hiding. Those bastards from the Spirit Owl Hunter group really have dog noses. They can even find me here. Fei Ren spat. The next moment, he reached for the black fire stick on his back. At the same time, he gathered all of his elemental energy and quietly hid behind a huge rock inside the cave, as if he was waiting for an opportunity to strike. "Deputy Captains, it's here. This brat's tracks disappeared here. I'm sure that this brat is hiding in this cave." At this moment, a few noisy voices came from outside the cave. In the next moment, a group of black-clothed people in uniform stepped into the cave. These black-clothed people all held weapons in their hands and had an aggressive aura. There were dozens of them, and the people leading them were Snake Wu and Guan Hai. That's right. I can't forget that little bastard's origin power aura. It's here. He can't run away. Stepping forward, Snake 5 looked around the cave. His face was as gloomy as stagnant water. "Snake 5, you're at the 8th level of the body refinement realm after all. You were actually tricked by a little kid at the 4th level of the body refinement realm and even let him escape in the end. You've really embarrassed our Spirit Owl Hunter group." At this time, a tall and sturdy middle-aged man with a heavy hammer in his hand also sneered with a mocking tone. "Guan Hai, if you can't catch this brat, you won't be able to answer to Leader Zone." In the face of the middle-aged man's ridicule, Snake 5's face turned green and red for a while. In the end, he was unable to restrain his anger. It seemed that he was somewhat anxious. The middle-aged man before him had a cultivation that was not inferior to his and had similarly reached the 8th level of the body refinement stage. He was the other vice leader of the Spirit Owl Hunter group, Guan Hai. Originally, Snake 5 had planned to capture Fei Ren by himself, but he didn't have enough subordinates. In addition, Fei Ren was very slippery and didn't come out. Therefore, he could only put aside his pride and ask Guan Hai for help. "Don't worry. Since he dares to offend the Spirit Owl Hunter group, I'll let that brat Fei Ren have a taste of what it means to live a life worse than death." Licking his lips, Guan Hai raised the mace in his hand with a cruel smile on his face. "Brothers, search the place." Glancing at the confident Guan Hai, Snake 5 immediately waved his hand. In the next moment, a group of black-clothed men spread out in the cave and began to search for Fei Ren's tracks. "Strike first, or you won't be able to escape." In the darkness of the cave, Fei Ren's heart skipped a beat when he saw the other party begin their search. Black Tiger Palm. After a few breaths, Fei Ren seized an opportunity and flashed out from behind the huge rock. In the next moment, he raised his hand and waved his palm at the two black-clothed men in the cave. The biting cold palm aura was mixed with rolling origin power and instantly pierced through their chests, causing blood to splatter everywhere. These two black-clothed men only had a cultivation base of the 6th level of the body refinement stage. In the face of Fei Ren's sudden attack, they died on the spot before they could even react. "Something's happening. It's that brat." Seeing Fei Ren appear, the remaining black-clothed men in the cave had a drastic change in expression. They instantly surrounded Fei Ren, and the atmosphere became heated. "Bastard brat, you finally showed yourself. Let's see where you can run to this time." Snake 5's cold gaze swept across Fei Ren as he clenched his teeth. His face was filled with anger, as if he did not care about the casualties of his subordinates. He only wanted to tear Fei Ren into pieces to vent the hatred in his heart. This brat is Fei Ren? A mere 5th level of the body refinement stage can kill 2 6th level body refinement stage cultivators in a second. He could be considered a genius, but I, Guan Hai, love to kill these so-called geniuses, similarly sizing up Fei Ren. Guan Hai laughed wildly. At the same time, he raised the heavy hammer in his hand and smashed it into the ground in the next moment. His eyes were filled with cruelty and killing intent. "Guan Hai, cut the crap. Let's send this brat to heaven first." Snake 5 glanced at Guan Hai beside him as he channeled energy in his hands. Layers of snake shadows appeared in his palms, as if he was planning to take down Fei Ren in one fell swoop. "Haha, kill." Without responding to Snake 5's angry roar, Guan Hai's figure shot out. At the same time, the heavy hammer in his hand swept towards Fei Ren's chest with a ferocious expression. 100 snake hands. Layers upon layers of snake shadows whizzed out. The moment Guan Hai made his move, Snake 5's figure moved as well. Both of them pounced toward Fei Ren, who was already trapped in a pincer attack. A large amount of elemental energy, waves, instantly swept out. Then let's fight. Facing the aggressive Snake 5 and Guan Hai, Fei Ren's face darkened. He used a black fire rod in his hand to block in front of him, barely blocking Guan Hai's fatal blow. At the same time, he gathered energy in his left palm and blasted out another black tiger palm. Bang! Clang! Rumble! Layers of snake shadows collided with the palm energy. In the next moment, there was a loud explosion. The huge explosion forced Fei Ren's figure to retreat dozens of steps, landing at the back of the cave. Cough, cough. It's still a little difficult. This is going to be difficult. His expression changed slightly. In the next moment, traces of blood seeped out from the corner of Fei Ren's mouth. His expression was grave. Although his cultivation base had broken through to the 5th level of the body refinement realm, facing 2 8th-level body refinement realm experts was still a little difficult. This time, Fei Ren had used up at least 30% of his energy and had also suffered some injuries. On the other hand, Snake 5 and Guan Hai were unscathed. Ha ha ha! I didn't think that you're only at this level. I thought you were more capable. In the end, you're still trash at the 5th level of the body refinement realm. You're as weak as the weapon in your hand. After the attack, Guan Hai laughed wildly again. At the same time, he carried the heavy hammer on his shoulder and looked at Fei Ren with disdain. TSK. Fei Ren glanced at the black stick in his hand that had been broken into 2 pieces. He secretly cursed and then threw it to the side with a solemn expression. The black fire stick in his hand was just an ordinary weapon. It could not even be considered a first-rank spirit treasure. It cost less than a dozen taels of silver. After so many battles, it had been severely damaged. It was already not easy for it to be able to withstand a blow from the opponent's hammer. It could be considered its last use. Little brat, you won't be able to escape this time, even if you have wings. Taking another step forward, Snake 5 revealed his killing intent. At the same time, strands of energy surged out from his palm. A bunch of trash. You want to kill me? Dream on. Seeing Snake 5 and Guan Hai charging at him again, Fei Ren's expression changed slightly. In the next moment, he stomped on the ground and turned around to dash into the depths of the cave. Not only was this nameless cave remote, its environment was also complicated. The interior of the cave seemed to be unfathomably deep. It was very suitable for hiding in seclusion. Now that Fei Ren was surrounded by the people of the Spirit All Hunter group, his chances of success were not high. Hence, he could only do the opposite and escape into the cave. Trying to run? Chase after him. Seeing that Fei Ren was planning to escape, Snake 5 and Guan Hai glared at him and shouted. Chapter 23. Crack. There's no way out. After a while, Fei Ren, who was escaping into the depths of the cave, suddenly stopped with a solemn expression. There was no way out in front of him. There was only a clear spring in front of him. The water of the spring was serene and deep, as if it was an unfathomable abyss. It seemed to be the end of this nameless cave. Die Kid. Just as Fei Ren was in a daze, another 5th-level body refinement realm black-clothed man brandished his blade and attacked. It was obvious that the pursuers had arrived. Noisy. Frowning, Fei Ren circulated his chi and struck the black-clothed man until he vomited blood. Finally, he slammed into the cave wall and died. There's no way out. This kid has no way out. In an instant, after Fei Ren killed a black-clothed man, a few more black-clothed men rushed out from behind and shouted while waving their weapons. Kill this kid, and you'll be rewarded greatly. With Snake Wu and Guan Hai holding the fort, and Fei Ren being injured, the remaining black-clothed men seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. All of them fearlessly charged at Fei Ren. In an instant, Origin Chi raged and filled the depths of the cave. Damn it, there are still so many bastards. Dodging the attack of a black-clothed man, Fei Ren's face was gloomy. At the same time, Origin Chi surged in his palms and blasted out a few more palms. Swish! Rumble! The origin chi mixed with the palm force actually condensed into a black tiger shadow. In the next moment, it let out a series of tiger roars and swept towards the black-clothed men. Ah! Ah! After a few screams, the black-clothed men were killed by the black tiger shadow. Their bodies turned into a pool of blood, and not even a trace of them was left. Although Fei Ren's cultivation was at the 5th level of the body refinement stage, his strength was comparable to the 8th level of the body refinement stage. He could not defeat Snake Wu and Guan Hai in a 1-on-2 fight, but it was more than enough to deal with the black-clothed men under the Spirit Owl Hunter group. Not long after, Fei Ren finally killed all the pursuers in front of him, expending a large amount of origin energy. At the same time, Snake 5 and Guan Hai had just arrived, and the atmosphere was tense. This bunch of trash. You can't even deal with an injured little kid at the 5th level of the body refinement realm. How embarrassing. With the Wolfang hammer in hand, Guan Hai swept his gaze across the corpses of the black-clothed men. He frowned slightly and looked displeased. A bunch of trash. It's good that they're dead. As long as I can kill this brat, I'll be able to report back to Leader Zone. Snake 5's expression was ruthless. In the next moment, he circulated the elemental energy in his hands and glared at the desperate Fei Ren. 100 snake hands. Howling wolf hammer. Without giving Fei Ren any time to react, Snake 5 and Guan Hai attacked him violently again. Boom! Fei Ren circulated all the origin energy in his body and blocked the combined attack of the two. However, his body couldn't help but retreat until he reached the edge of the clear spring in the depths of the cave. Traces of cool spring water seeped through his ankles and were exceptionally bone-chilling. Damn it, I don't even have a 10th of the origin energy left in my body. I can't fight against these two guys. Feeling the faint pain in his chest, Fei Ren's face turned pale and he spat out a mouthful of thick blood. After a few battles, the injuries in his body had become more serious. His body, under the cover of the gray robe, was full of bloodstains, and the web between his thumb and index finger was cracked. If it wasn't for his tenacious willpower that was unwilling to die, Fei Ren would have collapsed long ago. Dying. Seeing that Fei Ren's breath was weak and on the verge of his limit, Snake 5's attack didn't decrease. He blasted out layers of snake shadows that fell around Fei Ren. There's no other way. Facing the layers of snake shadows, Fei Ren's delicate face flashed a trace of decisiveness. In the next moment, he turned around and jumped into the deep clear spring behind him. Plop! With a crisp boom, Fei Ren's entire body plunged into the spring, causing ripples in the water. Then, his figure gradually disappeared. On the shore, Snake 5 and Guan Hai couldn't react in time. What? Bastard kid! Snake 5 and Guan Hai were stunned when they saw Fei Ren plunge into the spring. They didn't expect the other party to be so bold and decisive. Let's see where you can run to. Snake 5 snorted when he saw Fei Ren taking the risk to enter the water. He wanted to give chase as well, but he was stopped by Guan Hai beside him. Snake 5, this spring is bottomless. We don't know what's hiding in it. It might be dangerous if we go in recklessly. Also, with our cultivation bases, we can only hold our breath for an hour in the water. So what? Don't tell me we're going to let this kid slip away right under our noses? Snake 5 was displeased when he was stopped. He retorted with a question. That might not be the case. We'll just guard here. That kid's cultivation base is only at the 5th level of the body refinement realm. He won't be able to last long in the water. If he can't hold on and runs out, I'll smash his head in. Guan Hai waved the wolf fang hammer in his hand, as if he already had a plan. We'll do as you say. If he's alive, we need to see him. If he's dead, we need to see his corpse. Otherwise, when the sect leader comes out of seclusion and finds out that so many of our brothers have died because of this, we won't be able to escape punishment. Snake 5 glanced at the confident Guan Hai. He knew that he didn't have any good ideas, so he nodded immediately. Under the spring, Fei Ren could only feel that his entire body was wrapped in the ice-cold spring water. It was bone-chilling and his teeth were chattering. Although he was heavily injured, Fei Ren's body gradually became numb as he soaked in the ice-cold spring water. He couldn't even feel any pain. There was only one thought in his mind, and that was to swim out. Hang in there. I can't die yet. Biting his tongue hard, Faerun forced himself to stay conscious and swam into the depths of the spring water. There's light. After swimming for an unknown amount of time, just as Faerun's limbs were weak and his consciousness was about to fade, a ray of light suddenly appeared in front of him. It seemed that he had finally reached the bottom of the spring water. Splash, splash, splash. Using the last of his strength, Faerun swam toward the light in front of him. Then he stuck his head out of the water and took in big gulps of fresh air. This place is... Looking carefully, Faerun realized that he was still in the cave. However, the cave in front of him was silent. There were many stalactites on the ceiling of the cave, and the surrounding walls were also shining with a silver light. It was obviously different from the previous cave. I didn't expect that there would be a cave under the spring water. There's really a universe inside. Whatever, I'll go up and see if there's a way out. Standing up from the spring water, Faerun used the last of his origin power to evaporate the water stains on his clothes. In the next moment, his body staggered toward the cave in front of him. Now that he had escaped death, Snake 5 and Guan Hai were no fools. They would definitely block off the escape route on the other side of the spring water. Faerun couldn't possibly return by following the original path of the spring water. Hence, he could only think of other ways to escape. Chapter 24. Drip, drip. The stalactites at the top of the cave slowly dripped water droplets. Although he was seriously injured, in order to find the exit, Faerun's footsteps did not slow down. He stumbled in the cave step by step. There's no way out. After a while, Faerun's figure finally slowed down. In front of him was a sealed cave wall, shining with silver light. It seemed that he had reached the end of the cave. Am I going to be trapped here until I die? A sense of sadness welled up in his heart. Faerun's expression was helpless. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, his body froze, and he stopped on the spot. His pupils shrank. Faerun's expression changed slightly. He saw a white, nameless skeleton sitting quietly in the corner of the cave. It seemed to be in a cultivation posture. However, the bones in the chest and abdomen of this nameless skeleton were pitch black. At the same time, they were broken inch by inch. It seemed that he had suffered serious injuries when he was alive. In the end, his injuries could not be healed and he died. This person also died here. After discovering the nameless skeleton in the cave, Faerun's heart was in his throat. Snake 5 and Guan Hai were guarding outside the spring, and there was no exit inside the cave. It could be said that he was in a dilemma. The owner of the skeleton in front of him, who had died a long time ago, might have been trapped here alive like him. There's always a way out. I can't die so sullenly. After making up his mind, Faerun stood up and slowly walked toward the nameless skeleton. Arriving at the nameless skeleton's side, Faerun's face froze. He saw a broken blue book and a white medicine bottle under the nameless skeleton's feet. Previously, because he was too far away, he didn't notice it at first. Senior, although I don't know how you died, but ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Rest in peace. The nameless skeleton had been dead for many years and would disintegrate into ashes with a light touch. Following the principle of burial, Faerun dug a small hole next to the cave and buried the nameless skeleton. After dealing with this nameless skeleton, Faerun's attention also shifted to the blue broken secret book and the white medicine bottle next to it. He gently opened the cork of the white medicine bottle. The next moment, a few yellow-brown pills rolled out of it. At this moment, they were exuding a faint medicinal fragrance. Although they were old, the medicinal effect still remained. Recovery pill. This is a second-grade pill. It's good stuff. Looking at the yellowish-brown pills in his palm, Faerun's eyes shone. The energy recovery pill was a second-grade pill. After swallowing it, it could increase the cultivation of a martial artist. Each energy recovery pill was very valuable. One energy recovery pill could be exchanged for more than a dozen low-grade primordial stones. Moreover, it was usually priceless. There's one more manual restraining his expression, Faerun carefully put away the recovery pill. He then picked up the broken blue secret manual on the ground and carefully looked at it. Opening the first page of the secret manual, a line of small black words jumped into Faerun's eyes. The words were bold and captivating. It was as if the words were mixed with endless power. All things in the world, the strong, are respected. The mystery of primordial energy, the martial arts of man, is called the Black Tortoise. Once the Black Tortoise is born, immortality is achieved. 5th grade manual, Black Tortoise Longevity Scripture. His mouth slightly opened. Faerun's face was full of shock. He never thought that the broken blue secret manual in front of him was a rare 5th grade manual. There seems to be words at the back. Continuing to flip through the manual, Faerun saw a few more lines of small words. However, it was not a record of the manual. It seemed to be words left behind by a predecessor. My name is Guan Sheng. I was a wandering martial artist. By chance, I obtained this manual. However, before I could cultivate it, I was persecuted by evil people. In the end, I was hunted down endlessly. What a pity. So this senior Guan was hunted down here. In the end, his injuries were too severe and he died. No wonder. The bones in his chest and abdomen are broken and he lost a lot of blood. A mere 2nd grade recovery pill is not enough to save him from such severe injuries. Reading up to this point, Faerun also understood the ins and outs of the matter. The nameless skeleton in front of him was called Guan Sheng. He had obtained a 5th grade manual with great difficulty. However, before he could cultivate it, he was hunted down. In the end, he hid in this cave and died from his injuries. His ending could not have been more tragic. Swoosh! After browsing through the entire Black Tortoise Longevity Scripture Manual and fully grasped the manual circulation route, Faerun lit a fire and burned it all. After all, manuals were easily coveted by others and would not be passed on, let alone a 5th grade manual. Once I fully grasped this 5th grade manual, even if those two bastards Shi Wu and Guan Hai come me together, they will not be a match for me. After making up his mind, Faerun began to circulate his energy to heal his injuries. Before he started cultivating the Black Tortoise Longevity Scripture, he needed to recover from his injuries. Moreover, he had used up a lot of yuan power in the previous battle. This would affect his cultivation of the manual. Gulp! After a few minutes, his injuries had recovered slightly. Faerun was still sitting cross-legged in the cave. At the same time, he took out a recovery pill and swallowed it. As the pill entered his body, the wounds on his body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. About 50% of my yuan power has recovered. My injuries have also taken a turn for the better. The recovery pill is indeed a 2nd grade pill. Apart from increasing one's cultivation, it also has a miraculous effect on healing external injuries. Feeling a faint itch from the wounds on his chest and limbs, Faerun's face was filled with satisfaction. At the same time, he slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. 6th level of the body, refinement stage. After a while, Faerun suddenly stood up. At the same time, a ray of light shot out from his eyes. A powerful yuan power aura swept across the cave. I finally broke through. Now, even if I face Shi Wu and Guan Hai head-on, I can kill them with a flip of my hand. With the help of the recovery pill, Faerun's injuries had finally healed completely. At the same time, his cultivation had broken through to the 6th level of the body refinement stage. His strength had increased tremendously. If he were to use his full strength now, he could even contend with a 9th level body refinement stage expert. It's a pity that the recovery pills left behind by Senior Guan Sheng have been completely consumed by me. Licking his lips, Faerun's delicate face revealed a trace of regret. Beside Guan Sheng's corpse was a small bottle of pills. There were 3 recovery pills in it. The recovery pill was a 2nd grade pill. An ordinary 5th level body refinement stage martial artist would only need to consume one to break through. However, Faerun had consumed all 3 recovery pills, and only then had he advanced by 1 level. It was like a whale swallowing water. Because his body had merged with the immortal refining cauldron, Fei Rin's cultivation had almost no bottlenecks when it came to breaking through. Moreover, his strength far exceeded that of an ordinary person. Crossing levels to battle was not a problem. However, the amount of yuan power he needed every time he broke through was several times that of an ordinary martial artist. The Immortal refining cauldron is indeed a treasure of the immortal Tao. It's hard to fathom. Thinking of this, Fei Rin also stretched his waist, letting out a burst of crackling sounds. Chapter 25. It's time to cultivate the black tortoise longevity scripture. Fei Rin gently exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. He placed his hands before him and began to condense his origin power according to the meridian routes recorded in the black tortoise longevity scripture. The black tortoise longevity scripture was a rare rank 5 cultivation method. Its might far surpassed the condensing chi method that he had previously cultivated. After all, the condensing chi method was a common rank 1 cultivation method. Naturally, it could not be compared to a rank 5 cultivation method. Even the current emperor of the Dacia dynasty, Chu Tianyang, had only cultivated a rank 4 cultivation method. It was no exaggeration to say that even without the help of origin stones, Fei Rin's cultivation speed would not slow down in the future with the powerful effects of a rank 5 cultivation method. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In a short while, the effects of the black tortoise longevity scripture cultivation method began to show. Strands of origin power of the universe began to gather around Fei Rin's body. White light flickered as if a crystalline black tortoise armor had enveloped his body. At the same time, his cultivation base continued to rise. Not bad. When he sensed that his cultivation base had increased by about 1/3, Fei Rin grinned. His face was full of smiles. After cultivating the black tortoise longevity scripture, Fei Rin finally understood the difference between ranks. Compared to the black tortoise longevity scripture, the condensing chi method that he had previously cultivated was not even worth mentioning. Moreover, it was extremely trashy. Not only was his cultivation speed 10 times slower, but his origin power recovery speed was also half the difference. However, this was normal. After all, there were not many high-grade cultivation methods in the entire Dacia dynasty. Even the current emperor, Chu Tianyang, had only cultivated a rank 4 cultivation method. If he had not run away from the Spirit Owl Hunter group and hid in this cave at the bottom of the spring, Fei Rin would not have been able to pick up a rank 5 cultivation method like the black tortoise longevity scripture for free. I finally mastered it. After cultivating for a while, Fei Rin stood up and shook off the dust. He felt his origin power brimming in his body again. His expression was gratified. As a rank 5 cultivation method, the black tortoise longevity scripture could not only increase a warrior's cultivation speed, but also condense a layer of black tortoise armor on the warrior's skin. It could even regrow broken limbs as if the black tortoise was alive, endlessly growing and multiplying. However, Fei Rin had just mastered the black tortoise's immortality scripture. He was at most at the entry level and had yet to reach the initial success level. Therefore, the black tortoise armor was not formed on the surface of his skin. There was only a trace of the black tortoise armor, which was like a thin white film. Its defensive power was negligible. According to the secret manual, the black tortoise armor can help me defend against my opponent's elemental power attack. It can even save my life in a life and death situation. I have to hurry up and cultivate this skill to minor accomplishment. As for the rest, we can only leave it for later. Exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, Fei Rin had a thoughtful look on his face. Now that he had broken through the entry level of the black tortoise longevity scripture, he could be considered to have grasped the basics of this cultivation method. However, if he wanted to condense the black tortoise armor with astonishing defensive power on the surface of his skin, he would have to cultivate this cultivation method to minor accomplishment. As for the more advanced limb regrowth, he would have to cultivate it to great accomplishment or even perfection. However, unlike condensing the black tortoise armor, the black tortoise longevity scripture's limb regrowth consumed a lot of origin power. Almost every time a limb regrowth was used, it would instantly deplete the warrior's Dantian's origin power. It was not a commonly used move. Although the limb regrowth move of the Black Tortoise longevity scripture could not be used frequently, Faerun did not think too much about it. Currently, he only wanted to stabilize his cultivation base at the 6th level of the body refinement realm, then cultivate the Black Tortoise longevity scripture to minor accomplishment and condense a layer of Black Tortoise armor. Finally, he would go out and settle the score with the people of the Spirit Owl Hunter group. After an unknown period of time, Faerun finally cultivated the Black Tortoise longevity scripture to minor accomplishment and successfully condensed a layer of Black Tortoise armor on the surface of his skin. His strength had increased greatly once again. So this is the Black Tortoise armor. It is indeed extraordinary. Spreading his arms outwards, Faerun lowered his head and looked around. He realized that the surface of his skin was covered by a layer of silver-white scales. Through his clothes, he could see a faint white glow flickering within them. It was quite strange. Withdraw. With a thought, Faerun circulated his cultivation method and instantly withdrew the Black Tortoise armor into his body. As the white glow on his body dissipated, the silver-white scales on his skin also quietly retreated as if they had never appeared. The Black Tortoise armor was a unique effect of the Black Tortoise longevity scripture cultivation method. However, the specific defensive ability was closely related to the cultivator. The more proficient the cultivator was in the cultivation method, the stronger the defensive ability of the Black Tortoise armor. It could even withstand attacks that were several times stronger than the cultivator's strength. It's time to settle the score with those bastards. Secretly clenching his fists, a trace of ruthlessness flashed across Faerun's face. He was born to be vengeful. Previously, he was chased by Snake 5, Guan Hai, and the others for half a day and almost lost his life. Naturally, he could not swallow this resentment. If he did not take revenge, then he would not be Faerun. Plop! After making up his mind, Faerun jumped into the deep spring beside him and began to swim back to the cave along the original path. Now that he had taken all the cultivation methods and pills left behind by Guan Sheng, there was nothing good left here. After the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, Faerun's head slowly emerged from the water. However, the cave in front of him was empty. Snake 5 and Guan Hai had already disappeared without a trace. Even the black-clothed men's corpses on the ground had been cleaned up, as if there had never been a fierce battle here. Those two bastards must have thought that I died under this spring. In the next moment, Faerun suddenly rushed out of the spring and landed steadily on the ground. Hee, the winds and clouds change. Since I'm not dead, then you'll have to die. Licking his lips, a trace of ruthlessness flashed across Faerun's delicate and fair face. As the saying went, those who killed would be killed by others. He would never show mercy to his enemies. In the Spirit Owl Hunter group's encampment, a round tent was brightly lit. Come. Let's drink. Let's drink to our heart's content tonight. Deputy Captain, you're in such a good mood. Let me toast you. The atmosphere in the tent was lively. At this moment, Snake 5 was sitting in the middle with a drunk face. His left hand was holding a wine cup tightly, and his right hand was holding a young woman with a plump figure and a beautiful face. A few members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group sat on both sides. They seemed to be his trusted subordinates. Lord Snake 5, let me toast you again. Seeing that Snake 5 was drinking to his heart's content, the young woman in his arms laughed. Then, she gently raised the wine pot and poured it into his cup. Baby, you know me best. I didn't dote on you for nothing. His hands and feet wandered around the young woman's body. Snake 5's drunk red face revealed a trace of lust. It was obvious that he was in high spirits. All right, where did Guan Hai go? I asked him to drink, but he didn't appreciate it. As if he suddenly remembered something, Snake 5 raised his eyes and looked at a young man beside him. This young man's cultivation base was at the 6th level of the body refinement realm. His strength was above average in the Spirit Owl Hunter group. He was not considered weak. Deputy Captain Guan seems to have brought some people out to patrol. He said it was some kind of alert to prevent an enemy attack. Faced with Snake Five's interrogation, the young man immediately replied with a respectful tone. TSK, this brute. I know what he's thinking. Alert my ass. He just wants to show off before Captain Zong comes out of seclusion. If it wasn't for this idiot, I wouldn't have lost so many people when I was chasing that little kid Faye Rin the last time. Snake Five curled his lips. His face was full of disdain. Hearing this, the young man scratched his head. He could not help but reveal a trace of embarrassment on his face. Although there were many members in the Spirit Owl Hunter group, they were not united. Snake Five and Guan Hai had been fighting in the dark. Both of them wanted to become Zhong Lingxiao's #1 confidant. After all, Zhong Lingxiao was already a half-step Middle Unity Realm expert many years ago. He was famous in Wuhan Town. Chapter 26. All right, cut the crap. Let's eat and drink as usual. We're going to have a good time tonight. Snake Five's face was red as he glanced at the young man beside him. He shouted again, as if he did not want to be disturbed by this matter. Yes, Deputy Captain. Seeing this, the remaining members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group in the tent smiled obsequiously as they toasted Snake Five. After leaving the nameless cave, Fei Rin ran toward the outside of the mountain range. The Spirit Owl Hunter group's base was at the foot of the mountain range. It was not far from Wuhan Town, only a few dozen miles away. Swoosh! Under the night sky, the dense forest was quiet. A gray figure flashed past and landed lightly on a treetop. His sharp gaze pierced through the layers of branches and leaves before he looked at the nearby tent. This is the Spirit Owl Hunter group's base. Narrowing his eyes, Fei Run had a fierce look on his face. As the Spirit Owl Hunter group was quite famous in Wuhan Town, it was not difficult to find their base. After coming out of the cave, Fei Rin had killed a member of the Spirit Owl Hunter group along the way and used him as a spy to find out where their base was. At this moment, the Spirit Owl Hunter group's encampment was extremely quiet. Perhaps it was because it was getting late, but there were only 2 groups of people patrolling outside the encampment. The rest of the tents were pitch black. Only a circular tent in the center of the encampment was brightly lit with flickering figures. There's no strong origin power fluctuation. Looks like Zhong Lingxiao isn't here. Activating the Black Tortoise's longevity scripture, Fei Rin carefully released a wave of origin power to investigate. After a few breaths, he slowly retracted it. Zhong Lingxiao isn't here, and there's only 1/8 level body refinement realm aura fluctuation. Only Snake Five or Guan Hai are in the base for now. With a smile, Fei Rin clenched his fists under his sleeves. Just now, he vaguely sensed a dozen origin power fluctuations wandering around the base. However, they were not strong. The strongest origin power fluctuation was at the 8th level body refinement realm. It came from a circular tent in the center of the base. Swoosh! Under the cover of the night, Fei Rin's figure turned into a black shadow as he moved toward the circular tent in the center of the base. Crack! The entrance of the circular tent was guarded by 2 guards at the 6th level of the body refinement stage. However, before they had the chance to react, the necks of these 2 guards were broken by Fei Rin. Their bodies powerlessly fell to the ground, deader than dead. I still need half of my elemental force before I can break through again. Looks like I'll have to kill a few big heads. Glancing at the 2 corpses on the ground, Fei Rin did not intend to waste them. Instead, he used the Immortal refining cauldron to absorb the remaining essence of the 2 corpses. His expression was cold. Before sneaking into the encampment, he had already eliminated all the hidden sentries in the periphery. At the very least, he had killed more than 10 people. However, the cultivation levels of these sentries were too low. Even if he used the divine Immortal refining cauldron to absorb and refine them, it would not increase Fei Rin's origin energy significantly. Who is it? At this moment, Snake Five's angry roar came from inside the tent. It seemed that he had also noticed the commotion outside. Snake Five, I'm here to take your head. Seeing that his whereabouts had been exposed, Fei Rin did not mind. Instead, he turned around and stepped into the tent with a cold expression. Brat you, you're not dead. Looking at this familiar figure before him, Snake Five's expression froze. The next moment, he was filled with shock and anger. Beyond his expectations, not only had Fei Run not died, his cultivation base had also broken through again. He had stepped into the 6th level of the body refinement stage, and his strength had greatly increased. How is this possible? Crushing the wine cup in his hand, Snake Five's face was flushed red. It seemed that even his drunkenness had dissipated by quite a bit. The other party had been able to sneak into the Spirit Owl Hunter group's encampment without him, an 8th level body refinement stage elite, noticing nothing. It was enough to show that Fei Ren's strength was no longer the same as before. He's Fei Ren. This brat actually managed to escape the joint pursuit of 2 deputy captains, a 6th level body refinement stage cultivation base. This brat has gotten stronger again. Inside the tent, when they saw Fei Ren suddenly charging out, the members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group on both sides were shocked. All of you can go to hell. Ignoring Snake Five's question, Fei Ren's expression was as cold as ice. The next moment, his figure strangely distorted and disappeared. Not good. Seeing Fei Ren's thunderous attack, everyone was shocked. Black Tiger Palm. Without giving the other party a chance to catch their breath, Fei Ren suddenly extended his left palm. A few chilling palm forces mixed with the sound of Tiger's roar instantly killed all the members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group present. Blood immediately splattered all over the tent. After a series of wails, other than Snake Five, none of the members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group in the tent were spared. They were all killed on the spot. You're the only one left. After easily killing a group of lackeys, Fei Ren clenched his fists tightly. The next moment, he looked at Snake Five, who was directly opposite him. Lord Snake Five, looking at the bloody and terrifying scene before her, as well as Fei Run, who was like a god of death, the young woman in Snake Five's arms was scared out of her wits. Her beautiful face turned pale with fright. At the same time, her jade-like hands grabbed Snake Five's collar tightly, as if she was afraid that the other party would give up on her. Oomph. There's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. Little brat, give me your life. Pushing away the panic-stricken young woman in his arms, Snake Five glared angrily. His body immediately shot out. At the same time, he swung his hand and blasted a palm toward Fei Ren's face. Under the rolling origin energy, it instantly condensed into dozens of mournful snake shadows that were surging forward menacingly. Although Fei Ren's cultivation had improved once again and stepped into the 6th level of the body refinement stage, Snake Five's cultivation was at the 8th level of the body refinement stage. As a vice captain of the Spirit Owl Hunter group, he had rich combat experience. Naturally, he was unwilling to be captured without putting up a fight. I'll use you to test the power of the Black Tortoise longevity scripture. Black Tortoise armor. Seeing Snake Five's swift attack, a trace of vigorous fighting spirit flashed across Fei Ren's eyes. At the same time, his body stood still on the spot. Strands of origin energy gushed out from his body and instantly condensed into a layer of silver-white scale armor, as if he planned to take the opponent's powerful attack head-on. Arrogant. 100 snake hands. Seeing Fei Ren's posture of not even dodging, Snake Five became even angrier and blasted a few more palms through the air. Hiss, hiss, rumble. In an instant, layers upon layers of snake shadows landed fiercely on Fei Ren's body. The enormous origin energy exploded, instantly tearing the tent apart. At the same time, dust and fog were shaken up from all directions, and at the same time, the two people's bodies were submerged in it. You dare to take my 100 snake hands head on? Even if you're a genius, you won't be able to withstand it. You're courting death. Pulling himself out from the dust and fog, Snake Five's figure slowly landed nearby with a sinister expression. Snake Five, you're too weak. Is this all you've got? After a few breaths, a mocking laugh suddenly came from the dust and fog. In the next moment, Fei Ren's figure appeared again. However, there wasn't the slightest injury on his body. It was as if Snake Five's attack from before was just a trick. He's actually unharmed. How is this possible? Seeing Faerun walk out from the dust and fog as if nothing had happened, Snake 5 was so shocked that his jaw dropped. His eyes were filled with shock. After all, his cultivation was at the 8th level of the body refinement realm, and the 100 Snake Hands was a grade 2 martial art. He never would have thought that he wouldn't be able to hurt Faerun. In just a few short days, Faerun's strength had increased far beyond Snake 5's imagination. He could be called a monster. What kind of monster is this kid? Thinking of this, Snake 5's face was filled with horror. His heart couldn't help but waver at this moment. He even began to regret provoking Faerun. Chapter 27. Black Tiger Palm. Without wasting any more words with Snake 5, Faerun's figure flew out and slammed a heavy palm towards Snake 5's face. Bang! Boom! With a loud bang, Faerun's palm energy broke through Snake 5's Yuan power defense in an instant. Then, it ruthlessly landed on Snake 5's body. Snake 5's body was immediately pushed back dozens of feet, and blood splattered everywhere. With just one attack, Faerun heavily injured Snake 5, who was at the 8th level of the body refinement realm. The difference in strength was like heaven and earth compared to before. Kid, you can't kill me. I'm the deputy leader of the Spirit Owl Hunter group. If you kill me, Leader Zone won't let you go. Struggling to get up from the ground, Snake 5 spat out a few mouthfuls of thick blood. He looked at Faerun, who was slowly walking toward him, in horror. Even Zone Lingxiao can't protect you. With a cold smile, Faerun ignored Snake 5's threat. Another strand of origin power surged out of his right palm. The next moment, he grabbed Snake 5's neck and lifted his body up. Me. Snake 5's face was red, and his eyes were wide open. At this moment, he was heavily injured and had no strength to break free from the other party's grip. Crack! Faerun's face was cold as he exerted force from his right palm. The sound of bones cracking could be heard, and the next moment, Snake 5's body fell heavily to the ground. The bones in his neck were broken and blood flowed out of his orifices. He was obviously dead. The defense of the black tortoise armor is indeed amazing. Snake 5's cultivation is at the 8th level of the body refinement realm. Coupled with the power of a rank 2 martial art, he could only scratch the outer scales of the black tortoise armor. If the black tortoise immortality scripture is cultivated to perfection, I wonder how much the defense of this armor will increase. After killing Snake 5 in one move, Faerun removed the black tortoise armor from his body and pondered. Let's refine these people's bodies first. Collecting his thoughts, Faerun looked around. At this moment, there were corpses all around him. Snake 5 and more than half of the members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group were killed by him alone. There were basically no survivors. Chua! With a thought, the small and simple divine, immortal refining cauldron appeared in Faerun's palm. Then, like a whale swallowing water, it sucked all the corpses on the ground into the cauldron. Soon, a large amount of pure origin energy was fed back. Absorb, controlling the immortal refining cauldron with his mind. A large amount of pure elemental energy surged into Faerun's dantian. Not long later, all of the elemental energy in the divine cauldron was absorbed by him. Close to 1/3, but it's still not enough. Looks like vitality stones and pills are still more effective. Putting away the divine, immortal refining cauldron, Faerun let out a light breath. Although he had refined the corpses of Snake 5 and the members of the Spirit Owl Hunter group, it was still not enough to break through to the 7th level of the body refinement stage. At the very least, he still needed to absorb a few dozen inferior grade origin stones. This bastard is pretty rich. He actually has a low-level spirit ring. Picking up the spirit ring left behind by Snake 5, Faerun was slightly surprised. Although the corpses had been refined by the divine, immortal refining cauldron, there was no spirit ring. The spirit ring left behind by Snake 5 was a low-level spirit ring with a storage space of only a few dozen square meters. There were not many things in it. There was only a grade 2 martial art, the 100 Snake Hands, a few inferior-grade origin stones, and a few hundred taels of gold. Who are you? How dare you trespass into the Spirit Owl Hunter Group's base? Just as Fei Run was cleaning up the battlefield, a deafening roar suddenly came from outside. In the next moment, a burly middle-aged man with a heavy mace in his hand charged in with his team. It was clearly the other deputy leader of the Spirit Owl Hunter Group, Guan Hai. Is this boorish fellow back? Just as well. I'll take care of him together. When he saw Guan Hai barging in from outside, Fei Ren narrowed his eyes. Killing intent radiated from him. Originally, he had planned to wipe out the Spirit Owl Hunter Group's base in one fell swoop. Previously, Guan Hai had led his team out on patrol, so it was not easy for him to make a move. Now that Guan Hai had come knocking on his door, Fei Ren naturally would not let go of this opportunity. Be Astra's Starbrat, you're still alive? He looked around and saw Fei Run standing there silently. There were corpses all around him. Guan Hai turned pale with fright, as if he had lost his soul. Blockhead, I didn't die in the spring that day. I was lucky enough to escape. Today is the day you die. With a grin, Fei Ren secretly circulated his origin power. An extremely dangerous aura emanated from his body. It was as if a killing god had descended upon the world. How is this possible? Snake 5 is dead as well. You? When he saw Fei Ren's murderous expression, Guan Hai's expression turned grave. At the same time, he noticed Snake 5's corpse on the ground. At this moment, Snake 5's corpse had been completely drained of its origin power essence. It was as if it was a mummy whose blood had been sucked out. It was a terrifying sight. Blockhead, go down and accompany him. Ignoring Guan Hai's question, Fei Ren suddenly attacked. A black tiger palm shot through the air. Powerful origin power instantly swept out and transformed into the shadow of a roaring black tiger. It was as if a ferocious tiger had descended from the mountain. Its strength was unparalleled. Bang! In just a breath's time, the Wolfang hammer in Guan Hai's hand was sent flying. At the same time, the web between his thumb and forefinger was torn and blood flowed out. This kid is a monster. When he realized that Fei Run had become much stronger, Guan Hai's expression changed drastically. It was as if he had seen a ghost. After the previous few battles, Fei Ren's control of the Black Tiger Palm had become much more adept. He had already broken through to the perfect stage. Its power was comparable to a quasi-grade 2 martial art. In addition to his condensed cultivation base at the 6th level of the body refinement realm, Guan Hai, who was only at the 8th level of the body refinement realm, naturally could not withstand it. Die! Fei Ren mysteriously appeared behind Guan Hai. In the next moment, he raised his hand and violently blasted out a palm. The rolling origin power instantly crushed Guan Hai's heart meridian. Blood splattered everywhere. Guan Hai struggled for a while before finally collapsing powerlessly. His eyes were filled with despair before he died. Vice Captain Guan is dead. This kid is a monster. Run. The remaining members of the Spirit Owl Hunter Group turned pale with fright when they saw Guan Hai being killed so easily. They immediately scattered in all directions. From today onwards, the Spirit Owl Hunter Group will cease to exist. Looking around, Fei Ren saw that the Spirit Owl Hunter Group's encampment was in a mess. His eyes were cold. In the next moment, he turned around and burned the entire encampment to ashes, leaving no trace behind. Zhong Lingxiao, don't blame me for being ruthless. If you want to blame someone, blame your 2 subordinates for seeking death. Before he left, Fei Ren turned around and looked at the flames behind him. In the next moment, he turned around and left. He ran toward the Iron Palm Gates encampment. After this battle, the Spirit Owl Hunter Group had suffered heavy losses. 2 vice captains had died in battle, and more than half of their members were either injured or dead. Even if Zhong Lingxiao was a half-step middle and Unity Realm expert, the Spirit Owl Hunter Group would not be able to recover to its former glory in a short period of time. Zhong Lingxiao himself probably did not expect that the greed of his subordinate, Snake 5, would anger a ruthless person like Fei Run, who was extremely vengeful. Not only did Fei Ren slaughter the entire Spirit Owl Hunter Group, but he also burned down the entire encampment. He was heartless. Half a day later, after rushing at full speed, Fei finally returned to the Iron Palm Gates encampment. Currently, there were only 2 young disciples at the 4th level of the body refinement realm standing guard in front of the gate. Greetings, senior apprentice brother. Fei figure had just neared when he saw the 2 young disciples step forward. Then, they cupped their hands and greeted him. Their tone was full of respect. Senior apprentice brother? Looking at the 2 people before him, Fei was slightly stunned. That's right. With my current cultivation base, these 2 should indeed call me senior apprentice brother, Fei thought to himself. After all, when he had just left the Iron Palm Gate to train, his cultivation base was merely at the 2nd level of the body refinement realm. Now that his cultivation base had risen to the 6th level of the body refinement realm, it was no wonder that the 2 young disciples before him would have such a reaction. Chapter 28. Do a good job. I have high hopes for you too. Coughing a few times, Fei patted the shoulders of the 2, then leapt towards Xiushui Peak, his figure quickly disappearing. This senior is so powerful. Looking at the direction Fei left in, one of the young disciples sighed. Yeah, at such a young age, he already has a cultivation level of the 6th level of the body refinement stage. His aura is unfathomable. Even the intersect senior Wang Lingyun can't compare to him. Hearing this, the other young disciple opened his mouth to reply. His tone was also filled with envy. Although the 2 of them were outer sect disciples with a cultivation level of the 4th level of the body refinement stage, their martial achievements in this lifetime were extremely limited. This was because the golden period of a martial artist cultivation was not permanent, only 20 to 30 years. If they wanted to step into a higher level of martial arts, they would have to encounter some kind of opportunity. Xiushui Peak, I'm back. Not long later, Fei finally returned to Xiushui Peak. At this time, Xiushui Peak was still the same as before. Halfway up the mountain, one could see a large number of odd-job disciples busying themselves, either practicing martial arts or chopping water. It was a bustling scene of prosperity. Fei At this time, a cry of surprise came from behind. In the next moment, a youth in blue with a long sword at his waist ran towards Fei. It was Zhao. So it's brother Zhao, long time no see. Looking over, Fei was stunned for a moment when he saw that the person was Zhao. Fei, you really made me look for you during this period of time. His figure hurriedly stopped. Zhao glanced at Fei, panting as he said, What's wrong? Seeing Zhao anxious appearance, Fei face was slightly puzzled, and he immediately asked, Isn't it because you ruined Wang Ning's plans that day and even beat up his men? This brat harbors a grudge in his heart and has started to take revenge. Zhao sighed and said helplessly, This piece of trash still dares to come to Xiushui Peak for revenge. Could it be that he's itching for a beating because I didn't beat him up last time? Fei lips curled into a disapproving smile when he heard this. Fei, this guy's big brother is Wang Lingyun. Wang Lingyun and his master, Wu Tai, are both very protective people. Who would dare to provoke them? Shaking his head, Zhao said bitterly. Wang Ning was only at the 3rd level of the body refinement stage and had always been ignorant and incompetent. Although his strength was stronger than Wang Ning's, due to the influence of his elder brother, Wang Lingyun, he could only endure Wang Ning's taunts. This brat found a bunch of lackeys and even pulled in an inner court disciple at the 6th level of the body refinement stage to support him. He threatened to break the tendons in your legs and arms and make you unable to get out of bed for the rest of your life. Luckily, you went out to train, or else you would have been harmed. It's just that it's hard for us. This brat couldn't find any trace of you, so he vented his anger on us. Not only did he injure many odd-job disciples, he also wantonly stole our contribution points. Brother, the 10 contribution points that were just given out to my token were also stolen by him. Sighing, Zhao expression was rather dejected. Where's Wang Ning now? Narrowing his eyes, Fei said indifferently, and a trace of killing intent involuntarily appeared between his brows. Originally, Fei Ren didn't intend to shed all pretenses of cordiality with the other party, but now that the other party was coming at him aggressively, and in order to take revenge on him, he didn't hesitate to implicate other innocent disciples. This had seriously touched Fei Ren's bottom line. Fei Ren, this is a conspiracy. That brat is now looking for you all over the world to settle the score. If you show yourself now, even if there are sect rules, that bastard Wang Ning will not be merciful and will definitely get rid of you as soon as possible. Seeing that Fei Ren's eyes were filled with killing intent and that he planned to face the enemy head-on, Zhao Ren's face was also filled with shock. The other party's background was strong, and he had the support of inner court disciples and elders. There were just odd job disciples who had just entered the sect not long ago and were completely unable to fight against him. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. Since he wants to play, I'll play with him. Drawing back his lips, Fei Ren's face revealed an indescribable smile. In the next moment, he looked at Zhao Ren beside him. Where's Wang Ning? He just left not long ago. That brat came to cause trouble again today, and Feng Hui was also injured by his people. He's probably near the sect's main hall now. Swallowing his saliva, Zhao Ren hurriedly opened his mouth and said, for some reason, although the usual Fei Ren had a sloppy and dispirited appearance, he seemed to have changed into a different person, and his eyes were terrifyingly cold. Wang Ning. His figure flew towards the sect's main hall, and Fei Ren's eyes did not hide the killing intent in them at all. Iron Palm Gate, sect main hall, Wang Ning, get out here for this young master. Looking around, Fei Ren also roared angrily and immediately spread in all directions, landing in the ears of many disciples. Who is this person? He's actually looking for Wang Ning. I heard that his name is Fei Ren. He had some conflicts with Wang Ning before, and even beat up his people. Damn, he's so awesome. He even dares to beat up Wang Ning's people. Doesn't he know that Wang Ning's brother is the inner sect's elite disciple, Wang Lingyun? Just as Fei Ren appeared, the surrounding disciples were also discussing animatedly, as if they did not know what had happened. You're finally willing to show yourself. I thought you were afraid of death and hiding. As his voice fell, Wang Ning slowly stepped out from the crowd, his face as gloomy as stagnant water, and his eyes were filled with resentment as he looked at Fei Ren. Hide? I don't need to hide from trash like you. Even your brother, Wang Lingyun, is trash in my eyes. With a cold smile, Fei Ren stepped forward and strands of elemental energy swept out in an instant. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at Wang Ning. You, Senior Gu, I'll have to trouble you this time. Seeing Fei Ren's frightening aura, Wang Ning was shocked. His body involuntarily retreated a few steps, and he immediately clenched his teeth as he looked at the crowd behind him and shouted, Brother Wang, don't panic. This kid has no respect for anyone and spoke rudely. Let me teach him a lesson for you. As his voice fell, a red-haired youth flew out from the crowd and landed steadily. The red-haired youth was tall and had a strong aura. There was a faint scar at the corner of his eye, and his cultivation level was at the 6th level of the body refinement stage. He seemed to be a relatively strong inner sect disciple. It's Senior Gu Jin. Senior Gu Jin is an inner sect disciple, and his strength is second only to Senior Wang Lingyun. I heard that the two of them have always been on good terms. Today, Senior Gu Jin personally stood up for Wang Ning. Looks like the rumors in the sect are true. This kid is finished. Against Senior Gu Jin, even if he doesn't die, he will be crippled. Seeing the red-haired youth suddenly appear, the surrounding disciples began to discuss spiritedly, and for a moment, the air was filled with the smell of gunpowder. 6th level of the body refinement stage? Seeing Gu Jin suddenly make a move, Fei Ren's expression froze for a moment before returning to normal. At the same time, a mocking smile appeared on his face. He had even killed the 2 vice-captains of the Spirit Owl Hunter group, who were at the 8th level of the body refinement stage. Against Gu Jin, who was only at the 6th level of the body refinement stage, it was naturally nothing. Even if Gu Jin's cultivation method was not weak, it was useless. After all, Fei Ren cultivated the 5th-level cultivation method, the Black Tortoise Longevity Scripture. Even in the entire Dacha dynasty, there were only a handful who could do so. You are Fei Ren? You do have some ability, but this is not the right to be arrogant. If you are willing to kneel down obediently and kowtow to Brother Wang, I can consider letting you go. Looking at Fei Ren from head to toe, Gu Jin crossed his arms and frowned. Although Fei Ren was only a servant disciple, Gu Jin could not see through his true cultivation level. He could only sense that his opponent's aura was not weak, which was why he did not make a move immediately. Oh, didn't you want to teach me a lesson? Don't tell me you're scared too? Glancing at the cautious Gu Jin, Fei Ren smiled slightly, his tone full of disdain. Where did this kid come from? Even I can't see through him. Don't tell me. Impossible. It must be an illusion. This kid is only a servant disciple. How powerful can he be? Seeing Fei Ren's fearless look, Gu Jin narrowed his eyes and his expression turned solemn. At the same time, the thought that had just appeared in his mind was immediately rejected. His expression returned to its original ruthlessness. Chapter 29. Little brat, you sure have a sharp tongue. Today, I will show you the difference in strength. Facing Fei Ren's provocation, Gu Jin laughed instead of getting angry. In the next moment, he took the lead and punched towards Fei Ren's vitals. Good. Seeing Gu Jin's sudden attack, Fei Ren let out a long laugh and also channeled all his yuan qi to meet the attack. Pong! The fist and palm collided. Fei Ren's body was as still as a mountain, still maintaining his stance, and actually withstood the punch. How is this possible? Seeing that his punch did not land, Gu Jin immediately retreated, his face slightly changed. Although he did not use any martial arts, he used almost 80% of his strength in this punch. However, it could not even break Fei Ren's defense, not to mention injuring him. My turn. Dusting off the dust on his clothes, Fei Ren's face was calm. At the same time, he released all his yuan qi without restraint. This kid's cultivation is also at the 6th level of the body refinement realm. Sensing Fei Ren's strong yuan qi, Gu Jin's face slightly changed, as if he did not expect this. Black Tiger Palm. Without giving his opponent any chance to react, Fei Ren's 5 fingers formed a palm. Taking advantage of the situation, Fei Ren attacked Gu Jin with his yuan qi mixed with the shadow of a black tiger. One could faintly hear the sound of a tiger's roar. Don't be so arrogant. Iron Mountain Demon Fist. Gritting his teeth, Gu Jin saw that Fei Ren was about to attack again. Gu Jin gathered all the yuan power in his body and executed a powerful martial art to meet the attack head-on. Pong! Rumble! Rumble! When the fist and palm collided, a rumbling sound instantly erupted. 2 powerful yuan power intertwined and devoured each other, neither gaining the upper hand. In the end, they completely exploded, bringing about a cloud of dust that filled the sky. Even a limestone floor under everyone's feet shook unceasingly. Swoosh! After a few breaths, the aftershock gradually dissipated. A figure quickly escaped from the dust and landed on the ground with an ugly expression. It was the inner disciple Gu Jin. How can this brat be so strong? A faint throbbing pain came from his chest as Gu Jin's face paled and a trace of blood dripped from the corners of his mouth. Although he had used all of his strength, he was unable to harm Fei Ren at all. This guy, he took my Black Tiger Palm head-on and is still standing. As expected of an inner disciple, he has some strength, landing not far away. Fei Ren spat out a mouthful of turbid air and looked at Gu Jin with a trace of surprise in his eyes. Although the Black Tiger Palm he executed was only a grade 1 martial skill, he had long since cultivated it to the perfection stage. Its might was comparable to a quasi-grade 2 martial skill. Coupled with his 6th level body refinement stage origin energy cultivation, an ordinary 6th level body refinement stage martial artist would be unable to withstand it and would most likely be instantly killed. However, Gu Jin was able to take his palm head-on and only suffered some light injuries. It was clear that Gu Jin's strength was not inferior to an ordinary 7th-level body refinement realm cultivator, and he was also a genius that could surpass levels to battle. It was a pity that he had encountered Fei Run, a freak who possessed a celestial treasure and was destined to be defeated. Although your strength is not bad, you're not my opponent. Moreover, you should not have gotten involved in this mess. Circulating his origin energy again, Fei Rin's body turned into a shadow and rushed out. At the same time, he blasted out a few more palms. Numerous black tiger shadows also rushed towards the injured Gu Jin. For a moment, a gust of wind blew, piercing the eardrums. Damn it! Seeing Fei Run launch another attack. Although there was a faint regret in his heart, there was no turning back. Gu Jin could only bite the bullet and rush forward. Similarly, he used all of his origin energy and blasted out a fierce punch. Rumble. Poochie. In just a breath's time, Gu Jin's body was blasted to the point where he vomited blood and finally fell to the ground. His breath was weak, and it was obvious that he had lost the ability to fight. Senior Gu vomited blood. This Fei Ren is so strong. Even Senior Gu is not his opponent. Seeing that Gu Jin was defeated, the crowd of spectating disciples in front of the sect hall had a huge change in expression. They looked at each other in disbelief. Is there anyone else who is not convinced? After beating Gu Jin to the point where he vomited blood and retreated, Fei Run withdrew his palm and stood up. At the same time, his gaze looked towards the direction where Wang Ning was, cold and emotionless. 6th level of the body refinement stage. This Fei Run is actually also at the 6th level of the body refinement stage. Even Senior Gu is not his opponent. Monster. Run. If we get into trouble, we will all die here. Seeing that Fei Ren's gaze was directed towards them, the few lackeys beside Wang Ning had a huge change in expression. In the next moment, they turned around and fled in all directions. Very quickly, they disappeared without a trace. You trash. Come back here. Seeing the people around him flee one after another, Wang Ning was so angry that his heart was attacked. His face turned green and red for a while. It's your turn now. Glancing at the fleeing crowd, Fei Run didn't make a move to stop them. Other than the inner court disciple Gu Jin, the lackeys beside Wang Ning were all outer court disciples at the 4th or 5th level of the body refinement stage. They weren't even worth mentioning, and, at the same time, they weren't his target. How is it possible? What's wrong with this bastard? 6th level of the body refinement stage. Impossible, it must be fake. How did his cultivation level rise so quickly? Seeing Fei Ren slowly walking towards him, Wang Ning's face was filled with fear. He was out of his wits, and his eyes were filled with fear. Fei Ren, do you know who my big brother is? You dare to make a move against me? You? Trash. Don't even mention Wang Lingyun. Even his master Wu Tai would not be able to protect you. Looking at the panicking Wang Ning in front of him, Fei Ren's expression was ice cold, revealing his killing intent. You! Before he could finish speaking, Wang Ning's arms were torn off by Fei Ren. Instantly, blood splattered and drooped down. It was obvious that all the bones were broken and completely crippled, and Wang Ning also fainted from the intense pain. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Fei Ren, Gu Jin, have no complaints about losing to you today. Seeing Fei Ren's ruthless move and crippling Wang Ning's arms on the spot, Gu Jin's eyelids twitched and his face instantly turned serious. Go back and tell Wang Lingyun that his brother lacks discipline. Today, I will discipline him on his behalf and tell him not to be polite. Looking at Gu Jin, who was not far away, Fei Ren said lightly. His tone was full of mockery, as if he was talking about something unimportant. Fei Ren, although Wang Ning is a mediocre trash, he is still Wang Lingyun's brother. Not to mention that my strength is not even half of Wang Lingyun's. His master Wu Tai is also quite favored by the sect master. Today, you crippled Wang Ning's arms. Wang Lingyun will definitely be furious. You better watch out. Exhaling heavily, Gu Jin also slowly got up from the ground. His injuries seemed to have recovered a little, and his tone was serious. Since I decided to make a move, I have never regretted it. With a cold smile, Fei Ren looked at Gu Jin again. In the martial arts world, the strong preys on the weak. This is the unchanging law of the jungle. However, Wang Ning, this bastard, because of his hatred for me, inflicted an undeserved calamity on the innocent servant disciples of Xiushui Peak. Not only did he injure them, but he also stole the contribution points in their tokens. As an inner disciple, don't you think it's a little embarrassing to protect such a despicable person? Chapter 30. Goodbye. After being reprimanded by Fei Ron, Gu Jin's expression became a little unnatural. He immediately cupped his hands and left resentfully. Let the storm come even more violently. Looking at the blue sky peak that was surrounded by clouds not far away, Fei Ren's eyes sharpened. He then turned and left, walking towards the sect's main hall. Previously, when he was training in the Hengduan mountain range, not only did he kill a large number of ordinary magical beasts, he also obtained quite a number of magic cores. These were all valuable goods that could be exchanged for contribution points in the sect's main hall. Moreover, Fei Ren had also accepted quite a number of missions before he went down the mountain, which he had yet to complete. This Fei Ren is too strong. Is he really just an odd-job disciple? I have been rooted in the Xiushui Peak for many years, and my cultivation level was lucky enough to break through to the 3rd level of the body refinement realm. I have never seen such a gifted odd-job disciple. It seems like the world is about to change. I wonder who is stronger between Senior Wang Lingyun and this Fei Ren. Seeing Fei Ren turn and leave, the crowd of disciples did not disperse. They were discussing fervently, as if the fierce battle from before was still vivid in front of them. Little kid, did you just defeat that kid Gu Jin? Arriving at the sect's main hall, Fei Ren only felt his vision blur. The next moment, he saw a plain-robed old man standing in front of him with a playful expression. Senior, I was just lucky. Looking at the familiar plain-robed old man, Fei Ren cupped his hands. Previously, when he was exchanging for inferior-grade primordial stones in the sect's main hall, the old man in front of him was an expert in plain robes. The old man seemed to be a senior in the sect, and his strength and status were not ordinary. No need to be humble. This old man already knew that you were not simple. Now it seems that you are indeed gifted. It is a waste of your talent to be a mere odd-job disciple. That Wu Tai fellow is blind. On the day of the disciple recruitment, he even missed out on a genius like you. Sigh, shaking his head, the plain-robed old man smiled faintly, as if Elder Wu Tai was just a small character in his eyes. His tone was mocking. This old man's strength is at least half a step into the Middle Union realm. Although his cultivation had reached the 6th level of the body refinement stage, Fei Ren could still feel a sense of oppression in front of the white-robed elder. This feeling was something that Snake 5 and Guan Hai had never felt before. It was obvious that the white-robed elder's strength was far superior to his. Are you here to submit your mission? When Fei Ren left the sect that day, he received a lot of level 2 missions and a level 3 mission. These white-robed old men didn't forget and immediately asked with a smile. That's right. These are the bones and skulls of magical beasts. Senior, please check and see if there's anything wrong. Nodding slightly, Fei Ren took out a big bag of miscellaneous items from his low-rank spirit ring and spread them out on the ground, including the bones of the ground lizard beast, the skull of the blazing ape, and so on. That's right, a total of 30 contribution points. That's right, little kid, do you want to exchange this ground lizard bone for contribution points? After checking, the white-robed old man smiled and looked at Fei Ren again. Seeing Fei Ren nod his head, the white-robed old man opened his mouth again and said, "The ground lizard bone is rare. It can be used to refine medicine and also to forge soul treasures. It can barely be counted as 20 contribution points." 20 points. Fei Ren's face was slightly surprised. The level 3 mission required the level 2 medicinal ingredient, ice fire flower, which was only rewarded with 10 contribution points. He didn't expect the ground lizard bone to be so valuable. Little kid, do you have any other questions? As the guardian of the Great Hall of the sect, this old man knows a thing or two about the affairs of the sect. Seeing the change in Fei Ren's expression, the white-robed old man gently stroked his long beard. His eyes were full of optimism. No, thank you, Elder. Finally, I will have to trouble Elder to help me exchange these contribution points for low-grade yuan stones. Fei Ren's expression returned to normal as he gently exhaled, cupped his hands together, and said, 50 contribution points could be exchanged for 5 low-grade yuan stones. Currently, Fei Ren was not far from breaking through. He was only a third away from his total yuan power capacity. 5 low-grade yuan stones in addition to the dozens of low-grade yuan stones that he had plundered from the Spirit Owl Hunter group previously, breaking through to the 7th level of the refinement stage was just around the corner. Creak. After returning to his residence at Xiushui Peak, Fei Ren pushed open the door and took a look. He discovered that the courtyard was already in a mess. Dust covered the ground, and obvious spider webs and smashing marks could be seen at the corners of the house. It seemed that Wang Ning and the rest had been here quite a bit. This bunch of trash. Since they couldn't find me previously, they used this to vent their anger. They are indeed incompetent and furious. Curling his lips, Fei Ren's face was filled with disdain. He pushed aside the dust and spider webs and walked into the house. It's time to start cultivating. If I can master the 100 snake hands, this young master's chances of winning will increase by a few more notches. After simply cleaning the house, Fei Ren also took out a gray secret manual from his low-grade spirit ring. It was clearly the 100 snake hands martial art that Snake 5 had left behind that day. The 100 snake hands was a rank 2 martial art. Once cultivated to full mastery, one could instantly summon dozens of mournful snake shadows. Its power was not ordinary. At the same time, it was also Snake 5's signature martial art. That day, when Fei Ren was being chased by Snake 5, he had almost died at the hands of his opponent. It was enough to see the power of this martial art. A storm is coming. Flowers fill the pavilion. A real man should be like this. With a long laugh, Fei Ren immediately started cultivating. At the same time, he held a low-grade yuan stone in each of his hands and began to enter a state of cultivation. Today, the Iron Palm Gate disciples in the sect hall all knew that he had crippled Wang Ning. With Wang Lingyun's vengeful personality, he would definitely not let him go. Therefore, Fei Ren also planned to increase his own strength and prepare to deal with Wang Lingyun's rage. 3 days later, just as the news of Fei Ren crippling Wang Ning spread like wildfire in the Iron Palm Gate, another big news also spread. Xiushui Peak, inside the house. Wang Lingyun has come out of seclusion and wants to make a life and death wager with me. Looking at Feng Hui in front of him, Fei Ren's brows slightly furrowed. That's right. This guy has already broken through to the 7th level of the body refinement realm. His strength has greatly improved. Even if a few inner sect disciples joined forces, they would still be unable to contend against him. Fei Ren, you have to be careful. Feng Hui nodded, his expression serious. Although he also wanted to avenge his brother's death, Wang Lingyun's strength was too strong. He could only place his hopes in Fei Ren's hands. Then what do you think? With a playful tone, Fei Ren glanced at Feng Hui again. Fei Ren, although your current strength is not weak, you may not be his match. Wang Lingyun is also a genius who can challenge those of a higher level. I feel that you shouldn't fight him head-on. Shaking his head, Feng Hui said in a serious tone. Although he had undergone a period of training in the sect, Feng Hui's cultivation had only just stepped into the 4th level of the body refinement realm. He had just become an outer sect disciple and could not be compared to Fei Ren and the rest. No, I accept this life and death wager. Wang Lingyun, this guy, has made a good plan, setting up a life and death wager. He is not bound by the sect's rules. This way, he can kill me to vent his anger. Little does he know that I also want to kill him. Shaking his head, Fei Ren laughed. His delicate and handsome face revealed a trace of ruthlessness and decisiveness. After 3 days of seclusion, not only did he cultivate the Grade 2 martial art, 100 Snake Hands, to full completion, but with the help of the Black Tortoise's Immortality Scripture and a large amount of low-grade Origin Stones, his Origin Power cultivation had also broken through to the 7th level of the Body Refinement Realm. His strength had greatly increased. Previously, Fei Ren could easily kill Snake 5 and Guan Hai, who were both at the 8th level of the Body Refinement Realm. Now that his strength had greatly increased, even if Wang Lingyun was gifted by the heavens, it was useless. Whether it was cultivation method or martial arts, he could crush his opponent. Fei Ren, you are indeed not an ordinary person. Even though you know that it is a dangerous situation, you still want to draw your sword. You are a real man. Seeing that Fei Ren intended to fight to the death with Wang Lingyun, Fang Hui's expression froze for a moment before he sighed with emotion. Chapter 31. Brother Fang, did you come to find me just to tell me about Wang Lingyun coming out of closed-door cultivation? Facing Fang Hui's praise, Fei Ren shook his head, not taking it to heart. Actually, there's one more thing. Cupping his hands, Fang Hui opened his mouth and said, Fei Ren, do you still remember Chun Tingting? Chun Tingting? Hearing this, Fei Ren's eyebrows raised slightly. This girl came from a wealthy family in Wuan Town. Not only was she gifted, but she was also as beautiful as a flower. Back then, when the Iron Palm sect was recruiting new disciples, Chun Tingting overpowered everyone and became the first new disciple to be accepted into the sect. At that time, Chun Tingting's cultivation level was the highest amongst the group, having reached the 3rd level of the Body Refinement Realm. Compared to Fei Ren, Fang Hui, and Zhao Run, she was stronger by a level. Thus, she received the appreciation of Elder Wu Tai. Fei Ren was well aware of this. What's wrong with this girl? Coming back to his senses, Fei Ren immediately asked. Ever since she entered the Iron Palm sect, she has been on a meteoric rise. During the time when you left the sect to train, she has already entered the sect under the sect master's command and become his first direct disciple. Her cultivation has also increased, reaching the 6th level of the Body Refinement Realm. She is not in the limelight in the inner sect. Compared to you and her, we are still struggling at the bottom. Helplessly shaking his head, Fang Hui smiled bitterly, as if he was mocking himself. Although they were in the same batch of new disciples, the gap between them was quite big. Chun Tingting and Fei Ren had both broken through to the 6th level of the Body Refinement Realm, while he had only just become an outer sect disciple. In the future, the gap between them would only grow bigger. What does her apprenticeship have to do with me? Rubbing his chin, Fei Ren's eyes were filled with doubt. In his impression, he did not have any deep grudges with this girl. Elder Wu Tai is the sect master's trusted aide, and he's trying to matchmake the two of them by marriage. Everyone in the sect knows about this, and Wang Lingyun is also itching to make a move. He's practically treating Chun Tingting as his own. I reckon that this marriage will be disadvantageous to you. That's why I'm here to inform you. After pondering for a moment, Fang Hui spoke again. Guo Huai was the sect leader of the Iron Palm School, and Wu Tai was his trusted aide and an elder of the Iron Palm School. Even if Fei Ren won the life and death duel, he might not be able to kill Wang Lingyun. If Fei Ren was careless and lost, it would be difficult for him to escape death. Brother Fang, thank you for coming to inform me. Take care, I won't see you off. Cupping his hands, Fei Ren's expression remained the same, as if he was listening to a trivial matter. Then, he got up to see the guest out. I hope I'm just overthinking things. Fang Hui turned around and glanced at the house where Fei Ren was. He furrowed his brows and left in a hurry. I, Fei Ren, am willing to accept Wang Lingyun's challenge. The bright moon is not afraid of a firefly, and an ant cannot shake a tree. Today, I swear that I will not back down from this battle. Regardless of victory or defeat, I will fight to the death. The pen danced like a dragon as he wrote a letter. In the next moment, Fei Ren left and posted it in the most conspicuous place in the sect's great hall. The entire letter was extremely domineering. It was obvious that he had accepted Wang Lingyun's life and death bet. The next day, the news of Fei Ren accepting the life and death duel spread throughout the entire Iron Palm School, causing a storm in the city. After all, both sides of the duel were not simple. Wang Lingyun was a famous inner disciple with extraordinary strength, while Fei Ren had just defeated inner disciple Gu Jin and was in the limelight. Blue Sky Peak, in a courtyard, tomorrow is the day of the duel between you and Fei Ren. This item is called the Spirit Fire Talisman. It can help you. Wu Tai stood with his hands behind his back, then took out a fiery red talisman from the spirit ring on his finger and handed it to a white-robed youth in front of him with a loving tone. "Thank you, Master." After receiving the fiery red talisman, the white-robed youth's face was filled with excitement. "Fei Ren, tomorrow I will let you die without a burial ground." The white-robed youth was thin and had a delicate face. However, his eyes were somewhat sinister and were emitting a fierce, killing intent. He was Wang Ning's elder brother, one of the best among the inner disciples, Wang Lingyun. "Yin'er, the sect master has already agreed to my request for a marriage alliance. However, that little girl, Chun Tingting, has some objections. If you can defeat Fei Ren and establish your might, then this marriage can be considered a success." As if he had thought of something, Wu Tai slowly opened his mouth. "Don't worry, Master. This bastard is nothing to be afraid of. I will definitely cut off his arms and legs to avenge my second brother." With a cold smile, Wang Lingyun once again cupped his hands, his delicate face not concealing his killing intent. At the peak of Iron Ridge Peak, two figures gradually appeared. One of them was the white-robed elder that Fei Ren had met in the sect's main hall. "Guohuai, you're going to let this bastard Wu Tai and Wang Lingyun team up to deal with a servant disciple?" The white-robed elder stroked his long beard and looked at the green-robed man opposite him. "A mountain cannot accommodate two tigers. I naturally know Wang Lingyun's temperament, but that Fei Ren is not simple either. To be able to defeat Gu Jin, who is at the 6th level of the body refinement realm, he may not lose this duel." As his voice fell, the green-robed man shook his head and laughed. If an Iron Palm sect disciple passed by at this moment, he would definitely be surprised to find that the green-robed man in front of him was sect leader Guohuai, the only expert at the 2nd level of the Middle Union realm in the vicinity of Wuhan Town. "TSK, up to you. It's not wrong for you to want to balance both sides. But let me remind you, this little kid called Fei Ren has a meticulous mind and is decisive in killing. When the time comes, things might not turn out as you think. Be careful not to draw water with a bamboo basket." Hearing this, the white-robed elder faintly said with an indignant tone, "Oldly, you're also at the Middle Union realm. Could it be that even you can't see through Fei Ren?" Guohuai exclaimed softly and looked at the white-robed old man beside him. "Isn't that so? Aren't you the same?" The corners of the white-robed elder's mouth curled up. After a moment, the two of them looked at each other and laughed towards the sky. Xiushui Peak, after a night. 7th level of the body, refinement realm. Level 2 martial art, 100 snake hands, initial success. With a single palm, dozens of mournful snake shadows blasted out, instantly smashing the wall in front of him into pieces. Fei Ren also lightly spat out a mouthful of turbid air. He retracted his hand and stood up. At the same time, his entire body was filled with explosive yuan power undulations, causing one's heart to palpitate. After a few days of closed-door cultivation, his cultivation had finally broken through to the 7th level of the body refinement realm. Moreover, his level 2 martial art, 100 snake hands, had also reached the initial success stage. His strength had greatly increased. If his opponent was still the inner sect disciple Gu Jin, Fei Ren would now only need a single palm to kill him without any room for resistance. It's time to meet this grandson, Wang Lingyun. After changing into a clean set of clothes, Fei Ren broke out of the door and rushed towards Blue Sky Peak. That was the gathering place of the inner sect disciples. At the same time, it was also the location of his life and deathbed with Wang Lingyun. The current Fei Rin not only cultivated the level 5 martial art, Black Tortoise's longevity scripture, to the initial success stage and condensed the Black Tortoise armor, he also possessed two powerful martial arts. In addition to his Yuan power cultivation at the 7th level of the body refinement realm, he did not fear even a 9th level body refinement realm martial artist. He could even fight a 10th level body refinement realm expert. Chapter 32. Taizhong's Sect. Blue Sky Peak. Today was the day of the life and death battle between Fei Ren and Wang Lingyun. Numerous Taizhong sect disciples had gathered here early in the morning. Most of them were odd job workers and outer sect disciples, but there were quite a few inner sect disciples as well. Among them were some familiar faces, including Gu Jin, who was defeated by Fei Ren that day. That grandson hasn't arrived yet. Very quickly, Fei Ren hurried to the Blue Sky Peak. His body was as straight as a sword as he stood there with a calm expression on his face. There was still an incense stick's worth of time before the battle would begin. Although the atmosphere was fiery, Wang Lingyun had yet to appear, as if he was secretly plotting something. He's Senior Fei Ren? He has a dignified appearance and is already at the 6th level of the body refinement stage at such a young age. No wonder he's a genius. Seeing Fei Ren's appearance, the few outer sanctum disciples beside him sighed in admiration. Although Fei Ren did not have much fame in the beginning, ever since he crippled Wang Ning and easily defeated Gu Jin, his fame spread throughout the Taizhong sect. In the end, he even became the idol of many odd job workers. After all, Fei Ren, with his status as an odd job worker disciple, was able to overturn the situation and even kill an inner sect disciple like Gu Jin. Senior Wang Lingyun is here. A moment later, a cry of surprise rang out from the crowd of disciples nearby. Soon after, a white-robed figure flew over from a short distance away. The next moment, he landed steadily on the ground. His entire body emitted a shocking Yuan power fluctuation. Wang Lingyun, looking towards the direction of the white-robed figure, Fei Ren's eyes narrowed. The white-robed figure's body was thin, but his aura was thick and vigorous, not at all inferior to the 7th level of the body refinement realm. Although his delicate face was devoid of blood, as if he was sick, his eyes were filled with danger and killing intent, causing one's heart to palpitate. It was Wang Lingyun himself. You finally appeared. Fei Ren stood with his hands behind his back, his tone calm. Oh, do you really want to die so badly? Hearing this, Wang Lingyun also coldly laughed, his tone mocking. Wang Lingyun, the outcome has not been decided yet. Shaking his head, Fei Ren's gaze was firm. In the next moment, he stretched out his left hand, and strands of origin energy swept out from his dantian and instantly coiled around his entire body. Fei Ren, could it be that you really think you can defeat me? I'm not trash like Gu Jin. That day, you crippled my brother's arms. Today, I'll make you pay with your life. You are destined to be trampled under my feet. Seeing that Fei Ren was still calm and composed, Wang Lingyun's face was also slightly angry. He immediately gritted his teeth and said, "Trash." As soon as he finished speaking, Gu Jin, who was watching the battle not far away, was also embarrassed. After all, he was easily defeated by Fei Ren that day, which completely lost his face as an inner disciple. You know, once you try. Ignoring Wang Lingyun's provocation, Fei Ren's origin energy surged, and from a distance, he blasted out a black tiger palm towards his opponent's chest. Arrogant. Seeing that Fei Ren had made the first move, Wang Lingyun's eyes were cold. Similarly, his hands revolved a majestic origin energy and then blasted out a blue seal. Within the seal, one could faintly see the shadow of a beast flickering. It seemed to be a powerful martial art. Bang! Bang! Rumble! The blue seal and the black tiger palm fiercely collided, and in the next moment, it completely exploded, emitting a loud sound that shook the heavens and the earth. The aftershock swept through the entire arena, and the limestone floor beneath everyone's feet cracked inch by inch, causing dust to fly everywhere. Pucci. Perhaps the battle between Fei Rin and Wang Lingyun was too terrifying, but one of the spectating outer court disciples' face suddenly paled, and then he vomited blood and knelt on the ground, as if he was affected by the aftershock of the battle. This outer court disciple was only at the 4th level of the body refinement stage, and was unable to withstand such an attack. Everyone, those below the 5th level of the body refinement stage, retreat 100 meters away. In the next moment, a few gray-robed elders hurriedly rushed over from nearby and simultaneously revolved their origin energy to raise a layer of defensive barrier, protecting all the buildings near Blue Sky Peak from being affected by the battle between the two. These gray-robed elders were all guest elders of the Iron Palm sect. Although their strength was not as strong as Wu Tai's, they had also reached the 7th level of the body refinement stage, and were not weak. On Iron Mountain Peak, Guo Huai and the white-robed elder each stood at the peak. At this moment, their gazes silently fell on the fierce battle between Fei Rin and Wang Lingyun. Level 2 martial art, Vajra Annihilation. Wu Tai even taught this move to this little child. Looks like he has high hopes. The white-robed elder lightly stroked his long beard, and his expression was thoughtful. Oldly, who do you think will win? Turning his head, Guo Huai lightly smiled and asked, "Oh, at the same level, Wang Lingyun, this little child, no matter if it's martial arts or martial arts, is first class. Fei Rin, this little brat, probably doesn't have a high chance of winning." As a Zhangyi stage expert, the white-robed elder naturally saw that Fei Rin had also broken through to the 7th level of the body refinement stage, but he was still somewhat pessimistic about him. After all, the starting point of both sides were different. Wang Lingyun had been an inner disciple for a long time, and the martial art he cultivated was the level 2 martial art, flowing cloud art. Now, he had even grasped his master Wu Tai's signature martial art, Vajra Annihilation, and could be said to be powerful. No, I feel that Fei Rin will win. Seeing the white-robed elder's judgment, Guo Huai unexpectedly shook his head. The white-robed elder's name was Li Feng, and he was one of the elders when Guo Huai founded the Iron Palm sect. Although Guo Huai looked like a middle-aged man, he was actually close to 50 years old. His judgment was naturally not too bad, and he obviously saw that there was something different about Fei Rin. "Sect Master, why do you say that?" Facing Guo Huai's judgment, Li Feng was stunned for a moment, as if he was a little surprised. The palm technique that this child used just now was not a martial art in the sect, nor was it the iron palm that I taught. Moreover, this palm technique carried the sound of a tiger's roar, and its power has already reached the level of a quasi-level 2 martial art. It is only slightly weaker than the Vajra Annihilation. Although Wang Lingyun's starting point is high, he has been training bitterly in the sect all day long, and Fei Rin has just returned from training outside. His strength has increased greatly, and he must have obtained a lot of opportunities. Now, do you still dare to be sure that Wang Lingyun will win? Guo Huai slowly opened his mouth and looked at Fei Rin with a trace of admiration in his eyes. It seemed that even if the other party was defeated in this battle, he would not stand by and let Wang Lingyun kill Fei Rin. "I'm old, and sometimes I make mistakes. Sect Master is wise." Lightly nodding his head, Li Feng finally understood why Guo Huai did not care about the conflict between Fei Rin and Wang Lingyun and even the life and death battle. Obviously, everything was under the control of the other party. Both Fei Rin and Wang Lingyun were the elite disciples of the Iron Palm sect, and the death of either would be a huge loss. As the sect master, Guo Huai naturally did not want to sacrifice the rook to protect the horse. As for tacitly agreeing to the life and death battle, it was only to train the two. No matter who wins or loses this battle, sect master, you will most likely be the middleman. After all, rules are set by people, and since they can be set, they can also be changed. Looking back at the fierce battle below, Li Feng sighed with emotion. "Old Li, you have followed me for so many years. It seems that you still understand my thoughts." Not denying it, Guo Huai faintly smiled, and his expression was subtle. Chapter 33. On the Blue Sky Peak, the battle between the two was still ongoing. This bastard's origin energy is actually not weaker than mine. Could it be? After repelling Fei Rin's attack with a single punch, Wang Lingyun's face darkened. Even though he had exchanged a few blows with Fei Rin, he did not gain the upper hand at all. They were evenly matched, and he could not do anything to Fei Rin. Senior brother Wang Lingyun is actually tied with Fei Rin. This Fei Rin is really scary. His strength is enough to be ranked in the top 3 of the inner disciples. That's right. Senior brother Gu Jin's strength is only in the top 10 of the inner disciples, but he was killed by Fei Rin in just a few moves. This shows how scary this person is. Outside the arena, many disciples were watching the battle from afar under the protection of the origin energy barrier. They were discussing among themselves. King Kong Annihilation. With a loud shout, Wang Lingyun attacked again. At the same time, he blasted out an even bigger blue seal. Half of the sky could vaguely hear the roar of a King Kong beast. Then, the seal flew towards Fei Rin, who was not far away, bringing with it a strong gust of wind. This move again. Seeing his opponent attack again, Fei Rin's face turned solemn. He gathered origin energy in his right palm, and in the next moment, it condensed into 10 fierce snake shadows. The fierce snake shadows attacked fiercely and similarly. They attacked the blue seal in the sky. Similar to Wang Lingyun's Vajra Annihilation, the 100 snake hands that he executed was also a grade 2 martial art, and he had already cultivated it to the initial stage. With the support of his 7th level body refinement stage origin power, its might was extraordinary, and he was not the slightest bit afraid of facing it head-on. Roar! Rumble! The mournful snake's shadow instantly coiled around the blue seal, and in the next moment, a bestial roar erupted from the blue seal. Immediately, it broke free from the snake shadow's shackles and continued to move towards Fei Rin's body. The strong impact caused a gust of wind, and Fei Rin couldn't help but feel pain on his cheeks. Shit! Seeing his 100 snake hands being broken, Fei Rin's pupils shrank. Boom! However, before Fei Rin could react, the blue seal had already arrived and ruthlessly smashed onto Fei Rin's body. In the next moment, it exploded, and a large amount of origin energy instantly swept through the entire arena. At the same time, it submerged Fei Rin's figure. Shwa! After a few breaths, Fei Rin also escaped from the aftermath of the explosion and landed in a corner. At this moment, his face was covered in dust, and his clothes were somewhat tattered. It seemed that he had suffered quite a bit in this battle. Motherf asterisk Kerr. Luckily, I've already cultivated the Black Tortoise's longevity scripture to a small success. Otherwise, I might not have been able to withstand this bastard's Vajra Annihilation. After spitting, Fei Rin raised his head and looked at Wang Lingyun, who was standing nearby with his hands behind his back. His expression was fierce. Although the power of Wang Lingyun's Vajra extermination was not ordinary, Fei Rin summoned the Black Tortoise armor to block this attack at the critical moment. The Black Tortoise armor's defensive power was indestructible. Its only flaw was that it consumed essence energy. Trash will always be trash. Seeing that Fei Rin was not a match for his Vajra extermination, Wang Lingyun's face was cold, as if he had already expected this. Oh, then if you were defeated by trash, wouldn't you be even more trash? Glancing at Wang Lingyun, the corner of Fei Rin's mouth curled up, and his tone was mocking. You're courting death. Hearing this, Wang Lingyun's eyes widened in anger. His body once again turned into an afterimage and attacked Fei Rin. Black Tiger Palm. Seeing that Wang Lingyun was attacking again, Fei Rin's expression became serious. He then blasted out more than 10 Black Tiger Palm Chi from his palms and retreated at the same time. After a short exchange, he had already roughly figured out Wang Lingyun's strength. Although Wang Lingyun's cultivation was only at the 7th level of the body refinement realm, he possessed the grade 2 martial art, Vajra extermination. Moreover, he had already practiced it to the point of perfection. His true strength was comparable to the 9th level of the body refinement realm. If it was a real life and death battle, Feiren would not be afraid of Wang Lingyun at all. However, in this battle, under the watchful eyes of the Iron Palm Sect's disciples, he could not reveal the secrets of the Black Tortoise immortality scripture and the immortal refining cauldron. Otherwise, he would be met with a fatal disaster and endless covetous eyes. Insignificant skill. Facing the incoming Black Tiger Palm Chi, Wang Lingyun's face was grave and stern. At the same time, he lightly flicked his sleeve and released more than 10 Black Tiger Palm Chi. Instantly, the oncoming Black Tiger Palm Chi was shattered, and his attack did not slow down. Boom! Wang Lingyun's attack fiercely landed on Fei Ren's body, once again pushing him back. Like a kite with its string cut, he fell heavily onto the ground, at the same time leaving a deep hole in the ground. "Grandson, can't you use a little more strength? Are you tickling your grandpa, Fei?" After a few breaths, a few dry coughs could be heard from the deep hole. In the next moment, Feiren once again jumped out. He seemed to have not suffered any injuries, and his face was the same as before. Not a single scratch. How is this possible? Seeing that Fei Ren still had some strength left, Wang Lingyun's face slightly changed. He expected that Fei Ren's cultivation had also broken through to the 7th level of the body, refinement realm. However, he did not expect that his full strength attack would only push Fei Ren back and not injure him in the slightest. This was something that Wang Lingyun could not accept. So this is his true strength. Not far away, in the crowd, Gu Jin's face was filled with shock. He could not help but reveal a trace of bitterness as he muttered to himself. It turned out that when Fei Ren fought with him that day, he did not use his full strength, and his defeat was not unjustified. After all, even Wang Lingyun was unable to suppress Fei Ren. This bastard. I can't drag this on any longer. After using King Kong extermination so frequently, my origin power has already been depleted by more than half. Secretly clenching his fists, Wang Lingyun's face was as gloomy as stagnant water. Fei Ren's strength had greatly exceeded his expectations and was extremely troublesome to deal with. 100 Snake Hands. Seeing that Wang Lingyun had stopped his attacks, Fei Ren naturally would not let go of the opportunity to counterattack. He once again channeled his origin power, and in an instant, dozens of mournful snake shadows blasted out, heading towards Wang Lingyun to entangle him. The 100 Snake Hands was a level 2 martial art. Even though Fei Ren had only cultivated it to the initial stage and was not as skilled as Wang Lingyun's King Kong extermination, its power was still not to be underestimated. Furthermore, Wang Lingyun's origin power had been depleted by more than half, and his strength was already far from what it was before. Wang Lingyun, today you will die without a doubt. With an angry roar, Fei Ren's origin power was released without reservation, and instantly engulfed the entire area. Shameless boasting. With a cold snort, Wang Lingyun also channeled his origin power and charged forward. For a moment, the two sides were locked in a fierce battle, and it was difficult to tell who had the upper hand. On Teeling Peak, Guo Huai, who was watching the battle, frowned slightly, as if he was considering whether or not to intervene. Sect Master, these two little babies are going all out. Li Feng gently stroked his long beard with a solemn expression. Obviously, all his attention was on the fierce battle between Fei Ren and Wang Lingyun below. That's right. Even though Fei Ren has a higher chance of winning, Wang Lingyun is Wu Tai's disciple, and he should still have a trump card from Wu Tai. Previously, this sect master promised Wu Tai that if Wang Lingyun wins this battle, I will fulfill Wang Lingyun and Chun Tingting's marriage. Guo Huai was deep in thought, and his gaze never left Fei Ren below. Compared to Wang Lingyun, he valued Fei Ren more. After all, it was not easy for a nameless rogue cultivator to reach where he was today. Back then, before he founded the Iron Palm sect, Guo Huai was also a rogue cultivator. In the end, he accidentally obtained some opportunities, and his cultivation stepped into the second stage of the Middle Union boundary, which allowed him to become an expert around Wuhan Town. Chapter 34. Kaboom! Another loud sound rang out. In the next moment, Wang Lingyun and Fei Rin both retreated with different expressions. Damn it, this bastard is so hard to deal with. Could it be that I have no choice but to use the spirit fire talisman that Master left behind? Looking at Fei Run, who was not far away, Wang Lingyun clenched his teeth. His eyes were gloomy like stagnant water. It seemed that after dragging on for so long, he had lost his patience and only wanted to kill Fei Run in one strike to end all future troubles. The Spirit Fire Talisman was a talisman with infinite power. It was made by a talisman master, and although it was a one-time use item, its value was not inferior to spirit treasures and pills. Moreover, if a powerful talisman was used properly, it could even turn the tides of the universe. In the Xing continent, talismans were the same as spirit treasures and pills. They were divided into 9 grades, with grade 1 being the worst and grade 9 being the best. Even the lowest grade 1 talisman could instantly kill an expert below the 8th level of the body refinement realm. Grandson, you have less than a tenth of your yuan li left. Quickly kneel and beg for mercy. Exhaling heavily, Fei Run looked at Wang Lingyun and said in a calm tone, although he and Wang Lingyun had a life and death bet, this battle would not end until one of them was dead. However, the commotion caused by this battle was not small and would definitely attract the attention of Wu Tai and Guo Huai. Therefore, even if he wanted to kill Wang Lingyun, it would not be so easy in the end. Moreover, Fei Rin was very clear that Wang Lingyun still had a trump card in his hand. It was not as simple as just having a grade 2 martial art. Therefore, this provocation was both a test and a psychological attack. My black tortoise armor is indestructible. If I use up all my yuan li to activate it, it can even withstand a full blow from a 10th level body refinement realm expert. Unless this grandson has great abilities, he can't do anything to me. Taking out a grade 1 pill from the low-grade spirit ring and swallowing it, Fei Rin took advantage of the fact that Wang Lingyun did not attack again and secretly activated the black tortoise longevity scripture to slowly recover his yuan li. You have a sharp tongue? Today is the day you die. Wang Lingyun was already annoyed by Fei Run, and now he was even more furious. His face instantly turned red. The next moment, a light flashed on his fingertips, and he took out a fiery red talisman from his spirit ring. The talisman was densely covered with inscriptions, and a trace of dangerous aura was faintly emitted from it. It was the Spirit Fire Talisman. First grade talisman, Spirit Fire Talisman. Li Feng's face froze as he exclaimed in shock. Wu Tai even gave the first grade talisman to Wang Lingyun. Not good. Fei Run is in danger. At the side, Guo Huai's eyes widened at the sight of Wang Lingyun's Spirit Fire Talisman. In the next instant, his figure flickered as he rushed towards the blue sky peak below, intending to intervene and stop the battle. What the hell is this? Circulating his essence energy, Fei Rin's skin was covered in a layer of silver-white scale armor. His expression was solemn and dignified. He vaguely sensed that the might of the Spirit Fire Talisman in Wang Lingyun's hand was not ordinary. It could even threaten his life. Today, you will die without a doubt. Laughing out loud, Wang Lingyun flicked his sleeves and simultaneously channeled his essence energy into the Spirit Fire Talisman. Immediately, the Spirit Fire Talisman expanded several times and finally turned into a huge, blazing fireball. The rolling flames lit up half the sky. Swoosh! Before Fei Run could react, the huge fireball flew towards him. Along the way, it rolled up waves of heat. Even the surrounding air temperature rose several times, making one's heart palpitate. Not good. Fight! At the critical moment of life and death, Fei Run saw that there was no way to dodge. He could only brace himself and resist. At this moment, the essence energy in his body gushed out without reservation. The black tortoise armor on his body also shone brightly. At the same time, dozens of black tiger shadows and mournful snake shadows blasted out, aiming directly at the huge fireball. Boom! Rumble! The huge fireball quickly tore apart Fei Ren's attack, and then smashed towards Fei Ren's body without slowing down. In an instant, it swallowed Fei Ren's body and finally exploded, causing the earth to shake and dust to fly everywhere. The spectating disciples all circulated their essence energy in an attempt to dissipate the remaining impact. The fire grew stronger and stronger with the wind. Fei Ren, in the end, you are still my defeated opponent. Trash will always be trash. Seeing Fei Ren's figure submerged in the flames, Wang Lingyun was in a good mood and laughed towards the sky. Am I too late? Guo Huai's figure landed steadily on the ground. His brows were tightly knitted as he looked at the majestic flames in front of him. His face was gloomy, as if he hated himself for not taking action earlier. It's the sect leader. The sect leader is here. At this moment, a cry of surprise suddenly came out from the crowd. A few guest elders at the side also cupped their hands and greeted respectfully. Greetings, sect leader. Sect leader, staggering up from the ground. Wang Lingyun's face was pale as he looked at Guo Huai. In order to defeat Fei Ren in this battle, he had expended a lot of essence energy and was covered in wounds. In the end, he even used a grade 1 talisman, the Spirit Fire Talisman. Save him. Ignoring Wang Lingyun, Guo Huai shouted softly with a solemn expression. Bang! Seeing Guo Huai's reaction, Wang Lingyun's face froze. Then, he lowered his head and a trace of resentment appeared in his eyes, as if he was quite dissatisfied. In the midst of the raging flames, just as everyone was about to extinguish the flames, a figure suddenly appeared. Cough, 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 spitting out a few mouthfuls of blood. Fei Ren's face was extremely pale. At this moment, his arms and body were covered in blood and wounds. The originally indestructible black tortoise armor was also shattered due to the exhaustion of his essence energy. Although he looked battered and exhausted, he still did not fall to the ground. Fei Ren, he's still alive. Seeing Fei Ren walk out from the flames, an outer sect disciple cried out in alarm. At the same time, countless gazes from the crowd gathered towards him. Is this kid a monster? He's still not dead. Li Feng's gaze was lifeless. With a cultivation at the 7th level of the body refinement realm, he was able to take the attack of a grade 1 talisman head-on and not die. He had lived for more than half of his life, but he had never heard of such a thing. No, impossible. How could you block the attack of the Spirit Fire Talisman? The Spirit Fire Talisman is a grade 1 talisman. Seeing that Fei Ren was still alive, Wang Lingyun's expression changed greatly. He was terrified, and even his body couldn't help but slightly tremble. Right now, he really felt what it meant to be afraid. The Fei Ren in front of him was like an unkillable monster. Wang Lingyun, your origin energy has already been exhausted. Unless you have another Spirit Fire Talisman, you will still not be able to escape death. Looking at the horrified Wang Lingyun not far away, Fei Ren's eyes were cold and emotionless. In the next moment, he slowly walked towards Wang Lingyun. Although his steps were slow, every step caused Wang Lingyun's heart to tremble in fear and sweat profusely. Fei Ren, you have already won this battle. Wang Lingyun no longer has any strength left to resist. It's better to stop here. Letting out a long breath, Guo Huai leaped in front of Fei Ren and comforted him. It seemed like he wanted Fei Ren to show mercy. After all, after this battle, Fei Ren had already amazed the world. From today onwards, his position in the Iron Palm sect would definitely not be low. Sect leader, how can a life and death bet be taken lightly? Glancing at Guo Huai, Fei Ren's tone was firm. He was very clear in his heart that if he couldn't kill Wang Lingyun now, there would be no chance in the future. Hearing this, Guo Huai started to hesitate. Although he cherished talents, Wang Lingyun was not a coward. Moreover, Wu Tai was his capable subordinate. Thus, Guo Huai was conflicted. Fei Ren, with the sect leader here, you dare to kill me? Seeing Fei Ren's face full of killing intent, Wang Lingyun's face was filled with fear as he screamed. Do you think I dare? His figure flashed and landed in front of Wang Lingyun. Fei Rin's left palm suddenly reached out and grabbed Wang Lingyun's neck. At the same time, he lifted Wang Lingyun up. Ugh, you, how dare you? Exhausted of his origin energy, the heavily injured Wang Lingyun was simply unable to resist Fei Rin's attack. He could only allow himself to be lifted up by Fei Rin. His body was suspended in midair, and his neck was also tightly bound. At this moment, he could only stutter and shout. His current sorry state was completely different from the previous number 1 disciple of the inner court. Chapter 35. Bang! Loosening his grip, Fei Rin threw Wang Lingyun to the ground. In the next moment, his left foot ruthlessly stomped on Wang Lingyun's face, causing his mouth and eyes to sway. I'm going to kill you. Facing such humiliation, Wang Lingyun was so angry that his face turned ashen. At this moment, his mouth was filled with blood and many of his teeth were broken. He stuttered, and his right hand that was pointing at Fei Rin was trembling. It seemed that his injuries were too serious, and he could not resist. Fei Rin, this kid has already learned his lesson. Guo Huai frowned and looked at the miserable Wang Lingyun on the ground. He shook his head and sighed. Sect leader, he wanted to kill me in every possible way. If I was not strong enough today, I'm afraid my fate would be even worse than Wang Ning's. Moreover, sect leader will not save me. Without directly responding to Guo Huai's pleas, Fei Rin's gaze was deep as he said meaningfully, "This kid's temperament is actually so deep. It seems that I have underestimated him." Just as he finished speaking, Guo Huai's expression changed slightly. Then, he became silent. It seemed that he was also shocked by Fei Rin's decisiveness. His eyes were hesitant. "Have mercy." At this moment, a gray-robed figure suddenly flew over. The person who came had a ferocious face and angry eyes. It was Wang Lingyun's master, Wu Tai. Wu Tai. Seeing Wu Tai flying over, Fei Rin's eyes narrowed. The other party was obviously planning to save Wang Lingyun. After all, he was Wang Lingyun's master. "Ha, kid, now that sect leader is protecting me and my master is here, do you still dare to kill me?" Seeing Wu Tai rushing over, Wang Lingyun, who was lying on the ground, seemed to have gained some confidence. He immediately laughed wildly. His blood-stained and filthy face was extremely arrogant. "Trash, why wouldn't I dare?" With a cold smile, Fei Rin ignored Wu Tai's angry roar. He once again condensed a black tiger palm chi in his hand. His eyes were filled with ferocity. When he saw that Fei Rin was determined to kill him, Wang Lingyun's expression changed and he panicked. He never imagined that Fei Rin would be so bold as to kill him in front of Wu Tai and Guo Huai. "No, Fei Rin, brother Fei, I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. Let me go." Wang Lingyun was somewhat incoherent, his body constantly struggling, trying to break free from Fei Rin's restraints, but it was still useless. Fei Rin's feet were like a sea-stabilizing needle, firmly pressing him to the ground, unable to move. "Die!" Ignoring Wang Lingyun's pleas for mercy, Fei Rin roared. In the next moment, his origin energy mixed with his palm energy blasted towards Wang Lingyun's heart meridian. "Brat, you dare!" Seeing that Fei Rin still wanted to kill him, and Guo Huai beside him did not stop him, Wu Tai's face was filled with anger. He also raised his hand and blasted out a origin energy ribbon, intending to block Fei Rin's fatal blow. Bang! Poochie! The origin energy ribbon streaked across the sky and finally shattered more than half of Fei Rin's attack. However, the remaining power still fell on the heavily injured Wang Lingyun, causing him to vomit blood. At the same time, his head tilted to the side, and he completely fainted. After taking this palm of mine, even if this grandson doesn't die, he will be crippled. Whatever. Seeing that Wang Lingyun was saved by Wu Tai, Fei Rin's face turned cold. He then retreated to the side, and, at the same time, took out a pill from his low-level spirit ring to recover his origin energy and injuries, and no longer made a sound. "Yinner!" helping the unconscious Wang Lingyun up from the ground. Wu Tai also quickly took out a few pills from his pocket to help him consume them. His face was ashen. Sect leader. This kid is ruthless and merciless, and he ignored the sect rules. I hope that sect leader will punish him severely and seek an explanation from Yun. Turning his head to look at Guo Huai, Wu Tai immediately knelt on one knee, and in the next moment, cupped his hands and said angrily, as if he wanted to capture Fei Run and convict him. He deserved it. Wu Tai, although you're my right-hand man, there are some things you've done that you've gone too far. Guo Huai frowned and slowly opened his mouth, as if he wanted to protect Fei Run. Sect leader. Wu Tai's face froze. This is a rank 2 living marrow pill. It can reconnect bones and heal injuries. Go back and give it to Wang Lingyun. Since today is a life and death battle, it is not convenient for me to interfere. Moreover, Fei Ren is an outstanding disciple of the Iron Palm sect. In the future, you are not allowed to attack him. Otherwise, don't blame me for falling out with you. Glancing at Wu Tai, who was kneeling on one knee, Guo Huai once again said faintly, his tone firm. Yes, seeing Guo Huai's attitude in front of him, Wu Tai knew that he could no longer target Fei Run. He immediately gritted his teeth and angrily accepted the order. Then, he helped the heavily injured Wang Lingyun and hurriedly left the place, looking a little embarrassed and lonely. Fei Run, you have also used up a lot of origin power in this battle. Here are 5 rank 2 recovery pills. This should be of some help to you. After Wu Tai left, Guo Huai also turned to look at Fei Ren. In the next moment, a white light flashed on his fingertips, and he actually took out a small bottle of pills from his spirit ring, and then threw it to Fei Run, who was sitting cross-legged and healing his injuries. Thank you, sect leader. Fei Ren stopped healing and caught the bottle. At the same time, he cupped his hands and knelt on one knee. In this battle, not only did he make a name for himself and ruthlessly trampled Wang Lingyun under his feet, even sect leader Guo Huai wanted to rope him in. Since he had already achieved his goal, no matter how dissatisfied Wu Tai was, he would not dare to do anything to him. Moreover, Fei Ren's current strength was already comparable to the 9th level of the body refinement stage. As long as he was given a little more time and his injuries were healed, even Wu Tai, a veteran 8th level body refinement stage expert, would not be his opponent. Wang Lingyun's meridians are all broken, and his bones are all ruined. Even if he can be saved in the end, there will be many hidden injuries, and his strength will be greatly affected. In the future, if he wants to step into the middle unity stage, shaking his head, Guo Huai looked at Fei Run beside him, his tone somewhat meaningful. Sect leader's kindness. This disciple is unable to repay. Hearing this, Fei Ren cupped his hands again, clearly understanding the meaning behind Guo Huai's words. Just now, when he was about to kill Wang Lingyun, Guo Huai could have sold Wu Tai a favor and saved Wang Lingyun. However, he did not do so, clearly showing his attitude. Compared to Wang Lingyun, Fei Ren's talent and strength were even more top-notch and more worthy of nurturing. Fei Ren, in a few days, I intend to promote you to the inner sect great disciple. As the great senior brother of many disciples, what do you think? Slightly smiling, Guo Huai was very satisfied with Fei Ren's intelligence and immediately said in a deep voice, Sect leader's kindness. This disciple would not dare to disobey. Cupping his hands, Fei Ren once again knelt on one knee and respectfully said, in the face of Guo Huai's recruitment, Fei Ren naturally would not be polite. After all, he had spent a Herculean effort to defeat Wang Lingyun, a formidable opponent. His status was directly promoted from an odd-job disciple to an inner sect great senior brother. He would definitely not let go of such a good opportunity. As the great senior brother of the inner sect of the Taizhong clan, every month he would have at least 100 contribution points, which was enough to exchange for a dozen inferior grade origin stones. Currently, Fei Ren's cultivation had already stepped into the 7th level of the body refinement stage, and every time he broke through, he would consume more yuan power than ordinary practitioners. Therefore, he needed even more origin stones. Chapter 36. Fei Ren, follow me. Looking at Fei Run, who was kneeling in front of him with a respectful expression, Guo Huai nodded his head before flying towards Teeling Peak. What is he up to this time? Fei Ren did not think too much and quickly followed Guo Huai's footsteps. Fei Ren Sr. Senior, your martial arts are unparalleled. In the crowd, looking at the departing figures of Fei Ren and Guo Huai, a young disciple suddenly shouted out. In the next moment, the crowd started to boil with respect. Everyone looked at Fei Ren with eyes full of worship. This young master has become famous in one battle. Looking back at the enthusiastic crowd behind him, Fei Ren could not help but rub his nose, his face relieved. Arriving at the Teeling Peak, Fei Ren's face froze. He did not expect that the plain-robed elder from the sect hall would be here. Little kid, long time no see. Seeing Fei Ren's stunned face, Li Feng chuckled. His wrinkled face instantly scrunched up as he spoke in a playful tone. Li Feng, my brother. In the early years, we roamed the Jianghu together and founded the third-rate Iron Palm sect. Stepping forward, Guo Huai slowly explained. At the same time, he glanced at Fei Ren beside him. Fei Ren, you know each other? Disciple is not talented, but I was fortunate enough to meet Senior Li a few times. Clasping his hands, Fei Ren nodded his head. I see. Fei Ren, my sect wishes to take you in as a disciple. Are you willing? Slightly nodding his head, Guo Huai spoke again. At the same time, a trace of shrewdness flashed across his eyes. Fei Ren was not even 15 years old, but his cultivation had already reached the 7th level of the body refinement stage. Such a strong cultivation talent was rarely seen in the entire Wuhan town. In the future, if there were no accidents, he would definitely step into the middle unity stage. With regards to this kind of genius, Guo Huai would naturally try his best to rope him in. After all, the Iron Palm School currently only had him and Li Feng, 2 middle unity realm experts. It was merely a third-rate force. If the school had another middle unity realm expert, it would have the opportunity to rise to the ranks of a second-rate force, developing and expanding from there. Sect masters love, this disciple will definitely repay it in the future. In the face of Guo Huai's decision to take him in as a disciple, Fei Ren did not hesitate and immediately cupped his hands. Currently, he possessed the Tier 5 cultivation technique, the Black Tortoise Immortality Scripture, and the martial arts he cultivated were not weak either. He also had the Immortal Refining Cauldron, a supreme Immortal Dao treasure. Although Guo Huai was a second-stage Middle Union expert, he was nothing to Fei Ren. However, his wings were not fully grown yet, and it would be difficult for him to face a Middle Unity realm expert. Therefore, he could only keep a low profile and endure. He did not reject Guo Huai's good intentions. After all, there was no loss in picking up a master for free. He could also get more cultivation resources and improve his cultivation strength as soon as possible. Good. From today onwards, you are my disciple. However, before this, I have already taken in a female disciple. Fei Ren, I hope you don't mind such a small matter. You are still the Iron Palm School's big senior brother. As if he did not expect Fei Ren to agree so readily, Guo Huai chuckled and said, I will listen to master's instructions. Without any objections, Fei Ren's face was calm. Clearly, he had acknowledged Guo Huai as his cheat master. Here are 10 Tier 2 recovery pills. Although the quality is not good, the effect is much better than ordinary low-grade origin stones. As the future Iron Palm School's big senior brother, you have to cultivate well. Do not slack off. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Guo Huai took out a white medicine bottle from his spirit ring and threw it to Fei Ren. Thank you, master. Receiving the medicine bottle, Fei Ren's face was filled with joy. Guo Huai was a Zhangyi boundary expert, and his wealth was naturally not low. It was as if the second-grade pills in his hands were free. Previously, he had given him a bottle, and now he was giving him another bottle. Fei Ren was naturally overjoyed. After receiving the medicine bottle, Fei Ren did not stay here any longer. He cupped his hands towards Guo Huai and Li Feng, then turned and left Iron Mountain Peak. Guo Huai, this kid is very talented. I saw him when he first came to the sect hall to accept the sect mission. He is a good seedling. As long as he is nurtured well, stepping into the middle unity realm will not be a problem. Moreover, if this kid does not die prematurely, he will be able to catch up to the high star realm that you and I have never touched. With a flash, Li Feng came to Guo Huai's side. His words were full of praise for Fei Ren. Previously, he had seen that Fei Ren's talent was extraordinary. Otherwise, he would not have recommended Fei run in front of Guo Huai. The facts proved that Li Feng's vision was right. To be able to reach this step from a servant disciple, compared to Wang Lingyun, Fei Ren was indeed dozens of times stronger. Oh, Li Feng, this evaluation is a bit too high. Hearing this, Guo Huai's face was a little surprised. His cultivation was at the second level of the middle unity realm, while Li Feng's cultivation was at the first level of the middle unity realm. Although there was only a difference of one level, the middle unity realm was not the same as the body refinement realm. The difference in strength between each level was not small. The two of them had been practicing martial arts for many years and had some lucky encounters that allowed them to break through to the middle unity realm. Out of every 10th level refinement realm experts, only one of them would be able to step into the middle unity realm. Every breakthrough in the middle unity realm was not easy, not to mention the high star realm. Basically, every martial artist that could step into the high star realm was a hero of a region. It's not an exaggeration at all. This child has the potential. Shaking his head, Li Feng smiled. It seems that I did not lose out by accepting him as a disciple. Perhaps in the future, the Iron Palm Gate will be able to flourish and become a second-rate force, or even a first-rate force. Looking at the direction Fei Ren left, Guo Huai's sallow face revealed a meaningful expression. The next moment, he laughed. 3 days later, at the Blue Sky Peak. 100 snake hands, great accomplishment. Fei Ren's left hand was like a spirit snake as it twisted and swung, bringing along waves of origin energy. His face was firm. Ever since he defeated Wang Lingyun that day, he had been promoted to the Iron Palm Gate's senior apprentice brother, as he wished. Furthermore, he had become Guo Huai's disciple and received a large amount of cultivation resources. After a few days of secluded cultivation, Fei Ren's cultivation base had also skyrocketed. He was only a step away from the 8th level of the body refinement realm, and he had also mastered the 2nd level martial art, 100 snake hands. What a pity! I'm still a little short. Withdrawing his hand, Fei Ren let out a light sigh. After this period of cultivation, the 2nd grade origin recovery pill that Guo Huai bestowed upon him had already been used up. Furthermore, there weren't many inferior grade origin stones left in his possession, yet he still hadn't broken through to the 8th level of the body refinement stage. Because his body had merged with the Immortal refining Cauldron, Fei Ren did not have any bottlenecks in his cultivation. However, the amount of origin energy he consumed every time he broke through was several times that of a normal martial artist. It could be said that there were both pros and cons. Luckily, the Black Tortoise Immortality scripture is a 5th level martial art. Even if I don't have any origin stones or pills with this cultivation speed, I should be able to break through to the 8th level of the body refinement realm in at most a month. Let's go out for a walk. Exiting his cultivation state, Fei Ren's face revealed a trace of fatigue. These few days, he had been busy cultivating and did not leave his room. His entire person had almost become a boring gourd. It could be said that he was extremely bored. Chapter 37. Blue Sky Peak, halfway up the mountain. Fei Ren. A woman's voice came from not far away. In the next moment, Fei Ren's footsteps slowly stopped. It's her. Hearing the voice, Fei Ren was stunned. The person who came was a petite girl in a green dress. Her face was delicate and pretty, and she looked obedient and cute. She was Chun Tingting, who entered the Iron Palm sect with Fei Ren that day. Phew, you're finally out. Hurriedly running in front of Fei Ren, Chun Tingting raised her hand and patted her chest, panting. Miss Chun, why are you looking for me? Fei Ren pretended to be calm, and then probed. Although he and Chun Tingting entered the Iron Palm sect at the same time, they did not have much interaction, and did not even speak much. Now that the other party had personally come to find him, it was obvious that she had other motives. Could it be that she has taken a fancy to my looks and wants to repay me with her body or something? Rubbing his chin, Fei Ren's face suddenly became wretched. What are you thinking? What mess? I'm here today to thank you. Seeing the wretched expression on Fei Ren's face, Chun Tingting frowned, then reached out and hammered Fei Ren's chest and said angrily, thank you? I don't remember helping Miss Chun with anything. Seeing this scene, Fei Ren also restrained his expression, then coughed a few times and asked. Ever since he entered the Iron Palm sect, he had been cultivating every day and basically did not pay attention to the outside world. The only time he made a move, he offended Wang Ning, and in the end, attracted Wang Lingyun's hatred and revenge. If it was not for his superior skills, he might have lost his life in that life and death battle. Wang Lingyun and I have a marriage contract set by Master. I originally wanted to refuse, but this guy kept pestering me. Fortunately, you defeated him, and now he is almost a cripple. As for the marriage contract, naturally, it is cancelled. Chun Tingting stroked her long hair and chuckled. She seemed to be in a good mood. I didn't expect her to look so pretty when she smiles despite her usual valiant heroine appearance. Fei Ren couldn't help but take a few more glances at Chun Tingting. A strange look flashed across his face, but he quickly restrained his expression in the next moment. He coughed dryly and said, It's just a small matter, not worth mentioning. That bastard Wang Lingyun has been causing trouble for me. If it wasn't for his master, Wu Tai, stopping me, I would have killed him that day. This guy, he's quite scary when he gets serious. To think that I used to treat him as an opponent. Seeing the killing intent that flashed in Fei Ren's eyes, Chun Tingting's pretty face changed slightly. She bit her lips lightly, seemingly intimidated. Miss Chun, is there anything else? With a dry cough, Fei Ren probed again. Although it was very comfortable to travel with a beauty, for the current him, cultivation was more important. TSK. This lady, a great beauty, came to chat with you, and you're in such a hurry to chase me away? Besides, this lady is also the sect leader's disciple. According to seniority, you have to call me senior sister. As if she could hear the impatience in Fei Ren's tone, Chun Tingting placed her hands on her hips. Her pair of black eyes widened as she pouted and snorted. Who's that girl? She actually dares to reprimand Fei Ren, senior brother. At this moment, a few outer court disciples passed by. When they saw Chun Tingting lecturing Fei Ren like a big sister, they immediately started to whisper to each other. Miss Chun, according to the rules of the Iron Palm sect, isn't seniority based on cultivation? Rubbing his nose, Fei Ren looked at the angry Chun Tingting. Following the principle of a good man not fighting with a woman, he spread out his hands and laughed bitterly. I don't care. I'm older than you and entered the sect earlier than you, so you have to call me senior sister. Otherwise, I'll go to Master and tell on you. With a light snort, Chun Tingting turned her head to the side and spoke in an arrogant tone. It was obvious that she did not intend to reason with Fei Ren at all. All right, senior sister Chun. Reasoning with a woman was courting death. Although Fei Ren was young, he understood this principle. He immediately cupped his fists and admitted defeat to Chun Tingting with a helpless expression. That's a good boy. Good junior brother. I have nothing else to do. You can go do what you need to do. Seeing Fei Ren being so obedient, the corners of Chun Tingting's mouth rose and her beautiful face regained a smile. In the next moment, she reached out and patted Fei Ren's shoulder. She already had the appearance of a senior sister. All right, Fei Ren, there's one more thing that I almost forgot. Just as Fei Ren turned around and was about to leave, Chun Tingting spoke again. In the next moment, she moved lightly and blocked his body. Take this. Master and Senior Li Feng asked me to give this to you. Don't lose it. Taking out a low-level spirit ring from her sleeve, Chun Tingting handed it over to Fei Run in the next moment, her beautiful face slightly red. After a period of cultivation, Chun Tingting's cultivation had also stepped into the 5th level of the body refinement stage. As a disciple under Guo Huai, and for a wealthy family in Wuhan Town, she also had a low-level spirit ring on her. Therefore, she was not surprised by something like a spirit ring. Spirit ring? What's inside? Reaching out to take the low-level spirit ring, Fei Ren's face was slightly surprised. I don't know, but it's definitely something good. After all, it was given to you by Master and Senior Li Feng. They are both middle unity stage experts. Shaking her head, Chun Tingting said in a serious tone. Although Guo Huai was only a middle unity stage 2nd level martial artist, he could be said to be generous. Not only did he reward Fei Run with many spirit pills and origin stones, he also gave him a low-level spirit ring. It was unknown what kind of treasure was inside this low-level spirit ring. Thank you, Senior Sister Chun. Keeping the spirit ring, Fei Ren faintly smiled. I was just joking with you. You really took it seriously. You are now the intersex big senior brother. How can you call me Senior Sister? In the future, just call me Tingting. Seeing that Fei Ren really treated her as a senior sister, Chun Tingting's face turned red. Soon after, she covered her mouth and laughed softly. Although she and Fei Ren did not interact much, after a few short interactions, she found that Fei Ren was somewhat different from the rest. He was even a little bit handsome, causing people to be intoxicated. I'm a girl. How can I have such vulgar thoughts in my head? No, no. Before the thought rose in her heart, Chun Tingting hurriedly cut it off, and her face returned to normal. Thank you, Miss Tingting. After changing the way he addressed her, Fei Ren cupped his hands and left. Although he had a meticulous mind, he was not good at dealing with women. After all, Fei Ren had just turned 15 this year. He had some understanding of the matters between men and women, but it was not deep. When he was still wandering in Wuhan Town, he did not have much contact with women. Every day, he would eat and sleep in the open, mixing with people from all walks of life. Naturally, he did not understand the thousands of thoughts of women. Chapter 38. I wonder what's inside this ring. Using his Yuan Qi, Fei Ren found that inside the ring, there was a silver blade lying quietly. The silver blade was extremely sharp and emitted a cold light. At the same time, there was a small pile of yuan stones beside it. There were about a dozen of them, all of which were of inferior quality. Wow, this is a spirit treasure. Fei Ren's eyes were fixed on the silver broadsword. His face was full of surprise, as if he hadn't expected Guo Huai to be so generous. The silver blade in the ring was emitting a biting, cold aura. It was obviously not an ordinary weapon. It had already reached the level of a spirit treasure. Although it was only the lowest level, first-rank spirit treasure, it was still very valuable. In the Dacha dynasty's black market, it was impossible to buy it without hundreds of inferior quality yuan stones. With this silver saber, this young master's battle prowess will increase by at least 30%. Slightly suppressing the ecstasy in his heart, Fei Ren couldn't help but take out the silver blade from the ring. He then held it tightly in his hand and waved it up and down for a while, feeling the power of the spirit treasure itself. B-blade. So this blade is called B-sting. Fei Ren sheathed the saber and stood there. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw 2 lines of small characters engraved on the handle of the saber. Looking closely, he was surprised to see the words B-sting. Moreover, this silver saber had a sharp blade and a slender body. It indeed looked like a bee sting. It seems that Guo Huai is really training me as a direct disciple. I will remember this. Putting the bee sting blade back into his ring, Fei Ren's face was full of emotions. Ever since he became Guo Huai's disciple, Guo Huai seemed to value him a lot. Not only did he give him pills and yuan stones, but he also gave him a first-rank spirit treasure for free. If he didn't have the title of inner disciple, people who didn't know him would think that Fei Ren was Guo Huai's illegitimate son. Although Fei Ren was vengeful and hated evil, he also deeply understood the principle of repaying the kindness of a drop of water with a gushing spring. Now that he had become Guohuai's disciple, if he had the chance in the future, he would definitely find a way to repay this favor. After putting away the wasp bayonet, Fei Ren didn't slack off. Instead, he started to practice the Black Tortoise Immortality scripture. Now, he had already practiced the 100 snake hands to the great success stage. However, he was still far from reaching the consummate stage. It would take him some time to make a breakthrough. As for his own cultivation, he had no choice but to focus on the practice of the Black Tortoise Immortality scripture. Blue Sky Peak inside the house. The Black Tortoise transforms into force, attaining immortality. Fei Ren sat cross-legged on the couch, his hands circulating the secret art. At the same time, he directed strands of yuan power to gather in his dantian. The surrounding air was filled with a visible yuan power aura, and he quickly entered into a state of cultivation. After an unknown period of time, Fei Ren finally slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air as his eyes flickered. The Black Tortoise Immortality scripture. Great success stage. Feeling the large amount of yuan power that was once again overflowing in his body, Fei Ren lightly lifted his left hand. In the next instant, a heavy palm struck towards the earth wall beside him. The biting cold yuan power, mixed with the palm force, instantly shattered the earth wall into pieces. The Black Tortoise Immortality scripture has reached the great success stage. Coupled with the 100 snake hands, my current strength isn't inferior to the 10th level of the body refinement stage. Coupled with the grade 1 spirit treasure wasp bayonet, practitioners below the middle unity stage are simply no match for me. A trace of confidence flashed across his eyes. Fei Ren's face was slightly joyful. After this period of cultivation, although his cultivation hadn't made a breakthrough, his overall strength had increased by quite a bit compared to the time when he fought with Wang Lingyun. Bang bang. Just as Fei Ren ended his cultivation, a crisp knocking sound suddenly came from outside the courtyard. Someone's here. Seeing this scene, Fei Ren immediately stood up. At the same time, he flew out and arrived outside the courtyard. Outside the courtyard, a tall figure stood quietly. The person who came was a gray-robed youth carrying a snow-white broadsword. It was Feng Hui. Feng Hui, it's you. Seeing that it was Feng Hui, Fei Ren was stunned. Ever since he defeated Wang Lingyun, the two hadn't seen each other for a long time. Brother Fei's kindness, this one can't thank you enough. Seeing that Fei Ren had finally appeared, Feng Hui knelt down on one knee without saying a word. Then, he fiercely kowtowed a few times with a determined expression. Feng Hui, what are you doing? Rubbing his nose, Fei Ren helped Feng Hui up with a helpless expression on his face. First, Chen Tingting had thanked him, and now, Feng Hui had come to repay her kindness. If one didn't know better, they would have thought that he had become some kind of savior who had saved the world. Although Wang Lingyun was saved, he's already a cripple. From now on, his martial cultivation will be stagnant. It's only a matter of time before I surpass him. There's hope for revenge for my brother's death. All of this is thanks to Brother Fei's help. Slowly getting up, Feng Hui spoke with an emotional tone. Although he didn't think highly of Fei Ren at first, and was even a little worried, the reversal of the battle surprised Feng Hui. Fei Ren's strength had far exceeded his imagination. Not only did he master a level 2 martial art, but he also didn't die from the attack of a level 1 talisman. This wasn't something an ordinary level 7 body refinement realm martial artist could do. That's because he sought his own death. You don't have to thank me. Back then, Wang Lingyun could casually destroy other people's dantian and cultivation. Now, the tables have turned. Even if I didn't do it, someone else would have done it. In a world of martial artists, the law of the jungle is true. However, one shouldn't be too arrogant. This grandson was too arrogant. He deserved to die. Waving his hand, Fei Ren said calmly, as if he was talking about a trivial matter. Brother Fei's words aren't without reason. If my brother knew this in the underworld, he would definitely be able to rest in peace. Hearing this, Feng Hui deeply agreed. All right, this time I came here to ask for Brother Fei's help. As if suddenly remembering something, Feng Hui cupped his hands and said, "What's the matter?" Seeing that Feng Hui finally got to the point, Fei Rin's face turned serious. "Brother Fei, you should know that I'm not from Wuhan Town. I'm from Tianshui Town, which is hundreds of miles away. Tianshui Town is different from Wuhan Town. There are three major forces in Tianshui Town. They are the Xie family, the Mad Blade sect, and the Fong family behind me. Every 3 years, Tianshui Town will hold a hunting meet under the promotion of the three major forces. Through the results of the hunting meet, the benefits will be divided. The main purpose of the hunting meet is to hunt various magical beasts. The participants are basically the young geniuses of the various major forces. At the same time, the young geniuses who perform outstandingly will also receive rewards from the three major forces. Feng Hui explained slowly. He seemed to want to say more, but stopped at the end. "You want me to help the Fong family?" Hearing this, Fei Rin more or less understood the purpose of Feng Hui's visit. "Brother Fei, to be honest, I'm just a disciple of a branch of the Fong family. I don't have much status in the family. If Brother Fei is willing to help me, all the rewards from the hunting meet will belong to you alone. I won't take a single cent from you." Nodding, Feng Hui opened his mouth again. "What are you trying to achieve by doing this?" Narrowing his eyes, Fei Rin's face was filled with doubt. "My mother was originally a servant girl in the Fong family. She was unexpectedly favored by the Lord Patriarch and gave birth to me and my brother. Now that my brother has committed suicide, my mother became depressed and died of illness. As long as I can obtain victory in the hunting meet, I will have the opportunity to bury her in the Fong family's ancestral grave and give her a proper status." Shaking his head, Feng Hui's face was filled with determination and his tone was resolute. "You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.